now returning you to the children of Primus.
Welcome. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing, Spin?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Freakenstein?
Excited.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
just a wee bit.
just a little bit.
You know.
When we first connected, we found out that we knew each other from a con before we even started talking. And, I've told you this over and over again. It's great to have people to talk about Transformers with, because where I'm from, there's just nobody. Mm-hmm. But today we're having a special guest, and I've been watching him for a while now, like a good long while, and I'm pretty excited about this. And I also sent him a T-shirt because I really appreciate his videos, and I really like his when he goes live with the other guys from his crew.
Cool. Yeah, and I mean, you put me onto his videos, and it's like I've enjoyed watching his videos as well. And between like the solo reviews and then the live show, like the live streams, like I've enjoyed them. Yeah,
he's a good guy, and like when we asked him if he wanted to do the live show, he was nice enough to say yes, because like he's just a genuine good guy, and like you can tell from his videos, he's a good guy. Oh
yeah, definitely. And we have a TF fan forever saying hello, Freakenstein and Spin. And say hello, TF fan forever. Thank you for tuning in.
So this young man is the young man that I interviewed for my first interview on my channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I watched that. That was a great interview.
Yeah. It's a learning process, and just like everything else that I've been doing, like, I've only been doing this for about 4 months. I dove right into it, and I'm trying to give it everything I got. And I think the fans, especially Transformer fans, I'm not saying my fans, but just Transformer fans in general, mm-hmm. deserve to have something extra or different to watch, Yes. And you also provide that feature with all the people from this channel, the Children of Primus.
Well, thank you. I mean, we're, it's kind of look how we just put it all together, but we enjoy meeting all the different people, like in all the different cities and countries in a sense too.
Yeah.
Hello, Steven. How's it going?
Good. I'm a little red in the face today. And blue and light green and other things. It's a Magnetron from Beast Wars Neo.
Oh, cool. Decepticity is in the house from YouTube. Hey, guys. Hey, how's it going to you, sir? Well, sir, and Kitty.
Yeah. How's it going, Steven?
Good. Outside with my cat.
Oh, and here's another guy, no?
And Brian Benner on YouTube saying hello. Hello back to you. How's it going? And also says, hi, freaking Sign and Spin. How are you guys doing? I mean, we're doing well. Steven's jumped in as well. And Steven's doing well as well as it seems.
He's a little, but he's good. I know he's good. It's a cat. It's a cat. We got cat people in the audience tonight, so that's great. Speaking of Decepticity, we're going to have him on here too sometime soon, right? Like, we all met him at TFCon and his little furry friend, his little Decepticon.
Yep. Yeah, sometime in the future, in the near future, like we're going to have him on as well.
Again, that's someone I met at the same TFCon that I met you guys at, but didn't click and put it together.
And Steven, which character is that one?
That's that deep cover. Cloud cover from that G2 line. It's the only one I wanted to get.
Okay. Well, yeah, I like that shade of blue.
Well, since we're showing off stuff, I got my first. And I mean, I have 3 more, but I haven't done anything with them. But this is my first Beast Wars character. And I was kind of shocked at how easy he was to transform.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that plastic.
It's solid.
Yeah, it's a very solid character.
And since we're showing off Megatrons, there was a Armada Megatron, the Legacy one. Okay. I got the Cabal Wars version of the same version of Megatron, but I don't feel like getting him. He's upstairs. Oh, I got to put him back out.
So I actually just seen a third-party company that's going to be making that Megatron as well, but he's all like chromed out. I'm wondering if I should get him. That's from what what line is that? Like, what cartoon did that one come from?
He was from Armada, so the first of the 3 shows for the Unicron trilogy.
Oh, okay, so like I haven't caught up on Armada yet. I'm still trying to get through Beast Wars, but I did see that character. He looks really good.
You're better off watching the Japanese subtitles of the Unicron trilogy because the dubs are very infamous for being rushed, and like there's stuff where they would get the characters mixed up and stuff like that. But you can watch it on YouTube. If you look up like the channel, if you look up like Beast Wars Neo Episode 1, the channel that pops up, it's like some K name, reviews or some. You look that channel up and they have like a playlist of Legend of Microns, which is the Japanese title for Armada. And then I can't remember if I watched Superlink, aka Energon, via them as well, or other channel, but much better off watching it via the Japanese language with the subtitles than the English dubs for those.
Cool. So Techno Mika says, we're doing well, thanks. Decepticity got a booster yesterday. So I also have wouldn't say own. I also have 2 cats, so I understand, getting boosters and everything for them as well. Brian on YouTube says, I'm heading to Target to see if they have the new buzzworthy Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime in stock. And Mariano Welcome. Says, hello, peoples. I'm listening while on my way to pick up Studio Series 86 Death 2-pack. And Brian says, nice. Big M says, hey, everyone. Hey, how's it going? And Brian says, I'll be right back. So, as we got through all the comments, welcome, Toy Warp Vintage Reviews.
Yes, I guess I could grace you guys with my presence this week. You know. What's up, guys?
You gotta love the shirt.
eBay find. You know, so funny. I bought this to go to a party that was dressed as your favorite movie character. I wore the Soundwave helmet with this. Even with this and the Soundwave helmet, everyone guessed me as Optimus Prime.
I get the same thing, man. Like, even Megatron, I go walking downtown in my city, and I put the Megatron costume on, and they're like, oh, it's Bumblebee or Optimus Prime. And it's like, nope.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
Well, I live in a very small city, and like I said, in my whole life, I've only met 3 collectors, and 2 of them sold their collection. So,
oh my,
yeah.
Huh.
Well, you know, I've like my earliest part of my collection, actually, I would say the middle part of my collection was a friend of mine from school who, at the later part of high school, he just kind of grew out of his toys, and he's like, hey, I'm selling all of my Transformers. You're the first person I know. Do you want them? And I'm like, give me a week after like my after school job, put the money together and just bought his collection. And 2 other friends I knew from back then, one of them, he also at one point sold his whole collection. And then I think running into him a couple years later, he's like, oh, I wish I never sold my collection. I'm like, especially back then, this is like, you know, years before eBay even existed. So it's like, you sell off your stuff, you have no way of figuring out how to get this stuff back again.
Yeah, wasn't that a terrible time? Like the only places you could really find them before, you know, pre-internet days was like secondhand stores, Goodwill shops, thrift shops, garage sales, stuff like that. So, you know, I guess we're old enough to be veterans of the trenches, the collector trenches, as you say, for collecting this stuff.
It's true. You know, it's and I mean, I remember when eBay first came about, like basically it was just searching for those rare finds that we missed out on as children. You know, and although I remember the one find I did remember specifically was Predaking, like a complete Predaking set for like $1,000.
Speaking of Predaking, so you guys know I got this at the con. And I want to do a short video with him and the new Predaking and making him run away like a scared little puppy, because that thing's just massive compared to him. I know they were rivals, but now he towers over this poor little guy. Even though this guy's pretty big, this Mastermind Creations version is pretty big. He does not compare whatsoever to that new one. So,
which is funny because I mean, going back and from what I could remember of the comics and of like the earlier shows, like even though Skylance and Predaking were supposed to be rivals, I don't recall them ever like battling each other.
Yeah, they battled. I'm pretty they battled. I actually got a small video where I was introducing and using parts from the cartoon for this Predaking. But instead of having that Predaking from the cartoon, I put that Predaking in where he was. So
okay,
yeah, there's parts of the cartoon that they are fighting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember being in the jungle when it happened. They were fighting the Predacons, but it was a jungle of like another planet. So
yes,
right.
That's all I remember of it.
So I'm gonna say, Toy Warp, on your page, the Days of Thunder. Tell me about that.
I've been kind of scrolling. My Facebook feed has, all the Comic-Con type stuff, all the conventions, and I've been scrolling past them because actually in November I paid a lot of money to go meet William Shatner, so I haven't been looking at any of the Comic-Con stuff, right? And then Tampa Bay Comic-Con come up on like Tuesday across my feed, and Michael Rooker was going to be there, and I'm like, oh crap! Now, back this up a little bit. I've been saying for months I was going to do the video on the Tycho Days of Thunder set.
Right.
I finally got it done, and it got like 1,400 views in the first week, which is kind of unheard of over on Toy Warp.
Okay.
So that was...
Who is he?
Michael Rooker?
Yes.
Well, you guys would probably know him best as the Guardians of the Galaxy guy. He's the guy with the red, I forget his name in the movie, but he's got like a red, like a mohawk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he controls the whistle. Yeah, that's him. But he was also Rowdy Burns in Days of Thunder.
Got it. Okay.
And I believe he was on The Walking Dead too, was he not?
Yes, he was Merle Dixon on The Walking Dead. Yeah.
There, that's the one I know the best.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I was like, oh well, crap. How cool would it be to get the Days of Thunder stuff signed by Michael Rooker? So, busted butt to get up there. Oh my God, what a madhouse! It was insane. We ended up, well, my God, there was like 3 lines to get through just to get inside. It was crazy. Wow. So many people there. But let's see if I can get it down without dumping the contents. Had him sign the box for the slot car set.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? And he even signed it. He even signed it as Michael Rooker, and then Rowdy number 51, which was his name and car number in the movie.
So did that come out when the movie came out, or did it come out years after?
No, it came out right with the movie.
That's pretty cool. I remember having those when I was a kid. I used to love those things.
And then I had him sign the Matchbox play set, the racetrack set. He signed that as well. And then on my way out, I'm wearing a City Chevrolet shirt, which is kind of from the movie. And he signed my shirt, too, on the way out.
Nice.
And then... got my picture with him.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, on your Facebook.
Can you move it up a little bit more?
Up?
Just a little bit. No. Like forward, sorry. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is
beautiful.
Damn cool. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool guy. I had his line wasn't that long, which really surprised me, but it was still slow because he would talk so much to the folks, showing up to get his autograph. So it was like really cool. He wasn't like one of those guys like, hey, how you doing? Oh, you sign this. Okay, yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, no, he sat there and he talked and joked around and flirted with the chicks, and yeah, it was highly entertaining actually.
That's cool. Welcome, Mr. TM Reviews.
What's up?
How are you doing?
I was listening to the story. That's a pretty cool set. Are you gonna open it as a mint in box?
Oh, it's I've got all the contents actually up behind all the stuff up here, but it's opened already.
What's
yeah.
up?
I do have some Matchbox stuff that's sealed that I'm actually going to be opening for videos.
Nice.
So TF Fan Forever mentioned that the character that you were speaking of for Guardians of the Galaxy is Yondu.
Yondu, yes.
And Decepticons says, anyone see the SD Soundwave by, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Jizai Toys? So it's a question for everyone.
I have not.
I don't know how you actually buy. I think they're just a 3D designer. I don't know if you can actually buy Jizai Toys. Like they make 3D print designs.
Now, in terms of 3D print, is that something that anyone can download, or are there specific designs that you have to pay for?
Some you have to pay. Some are
Okay.
free. Yeah, I haven't met all of you. I've only met Frankenstein, so I guess.
Yes.
Why don't I?
Yeah, who the hell are you? Why are you on our stream? Yeah, something like that.
So the Decepticon says, "Hey, TM reviews, and welcome." So myself, I'm Spin from Children of Primus, and Freakenstein, and we have Steven, as depending on the screen in the top right corner. He is also a guest that comes through every week, and also Toy Warp Vintage Reviews on YouTube, which is his channel, and he also has Cruisers Motorsports, and he's also comes through every week as well.
Awesome. I saw at least two of you in passing at TFCon Toronto. I think it was you, Spin, and I'm not sure who else was there. I know Freakenstein was there, but there was one other person.
Probably Anthony.
And you were already podcasting, so I didn't interrupt you.
Well, the core part of us, myself, and there's Anthony, who goes by Fear of Courage. He writes the weekly reviews on our Children of Primus website. I don't believe he's able to make it this evening, but he did want to say, hello to you, and Professor D and Michael, who are also the members on the team as well. And I believe D should be in shortly as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I joined a little bit earlier than I thought. My daughter passed out.
Oh,
I had to put her to sleep, and she passed out early, so I got to get here early.
How old's your daughter?
She's 9.
Oh, okay.
Not into Transformers, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
What?
That's what I was just about to ask. That's what I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
You've got quite the impressive channel. That's 11,300 subscribers. How long you been at it?
I think this is my 8th year. Now that you asked that, I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I think it's been actually. Here I have the exact date: February 2015.
Okay.
So yeah, 8 years.
So I got a question about your channel. It's kind of Transformer related, but kind of not. But how have you felt? Have you felt any time that you were struggling with your channel, or hard to find topics to talk about, or has it just been solid all the way through?
It's never solid. It's never solid. I mean, so I get it. So believe it or not, it's a business because I get a 1099 from Google, but I make so little money that it's a losing business every year. So every year it's it's a write-off on my taxes, basically, because I spend way more than I could ever possibly make on YouTube. And then YouTube likes to punish you if you don't make videos every day or every other day, at least.
Yes. They take you out of the algorithm. Yeah.
So that happens a lot. I mean, I'll just get into a period of time, like Chinese New Year is one of those times where figures stop coming in, or if I'm on vacation, any of those times, I stop making videos for a little bit, and then it falls back. Also, no one can just afford to buy everything. It's just not feasible. Where are you going to put it all first, and then second, can you afford it?
Right.
So I rely on the kindness of friends to send me stuff to review, to let me borrow stuff. Sometimes they'll send it directly from wherever they bought it, so it's awesome.
Nice.
So someone sent me a whole box of I don't know if you've seen these guys before.
Yeah, I wanted to look at those. They're cheap.
Someone sent me a box of these, and there's 9 in a box, and I still don't know who sent it. It came from Bumblebee, but there's no return address or no information, and I tried to email them to ask them who, but they don't speak very well of English, so it was kind of okay, so. But I really enjoyed those figures. They were pretty cool. I've never even had a Lego set, so this is kind of like Legos to me, but way cooler.
Yeah, they looked. I mean, they were. A whole set was like $50 for 8 of them. So I was like, I was thinking about buying them. But how do you like it? How do you like the figure itself?
Well, I could show you a couple real quick. Yeah, I've done all the videos for them and everything, but here's Megatron, and they are very posable characters, really good for posing. You can get them in a lot of great stance. Here's Optimus Prime. Just move his axe out of
That
the
actually
way.
looks good.
And like, I don't know if you can see how the paint is, but it's like a chromish type of like candy apple. And same with this, and they're very, very, very cool figures. And of course we have, there you go.
So you got the 8-pack, all 8 together?
Well, there's 9 altogether, and I'm kind of thinking that for my bonus character, it's either one of these guys. I'm not too sure, but I'm thinking it was one of these guys because it does not show these characters.
Yeah.
But you never know. There's supposed to be a bonus in each box, but
Yes.
very enjoyable to do.
Cool. So TM Reviews. I also want to welcome Charlie C and Mr. Magnus, who are also regulars on our stream every week.
How's it going? Yeah, big
Good
crew.
evening, everyone.
Oh God, these yahoos again.
So as we
Awesome.
quickly catch up on the comments. So Mariano says, "Hello, Freakenstein. Nice to see you in person," and also says hello at TM Reviews.
Yeah, he's everywhere. He's on every stream.
For me,
He's a good supporter.
Oh, that's good. Well, how are you guys doing? Well, Charlie, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just hanging in there, working, trying to keep up with TM Reviews, Sony.
And then Mr. Magnus, how are you doing?
Too awful bad. Just trying to survive this heat wave down here.
Right, that's true. Like I've
Yes.
been hearing.
115 degrees in the shade Friday, and we were working out in it.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Where's
a
that?
nightmare. Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah. I just came from Houston last weekend.
Ooh.
And my brother-in-law has a pool. We went in the pool, and the water is warm. I was like, "Is this a heated pool?" Like, nope, that's just Texas. That's just how
It's
it
like being in a bathtub.
is. It was like being in a bath. Yeah, it was that. It's the opposite problem because over here, the pool's cold. We have to heat our pools in New York, but down there, it's so hot. You know, we spent the time putting up a sail to cover the pool so it'd be
Wow.
cooler. It's like complete opposite problem. Crazy.
well, Sonny, where are you located?
I'm in New York.
Oh,
Upstate New York.
okay.
Capital of New York, which a lot of people think is New York City, but it's Albany.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
You know, it's so funny you said that you don't make that much money off of YouTube. I have found that to make money off YouTube, it's the merchandising that you make money on, not so much YouTube paying you. Because they literally pay you, percentage of a penny per video.
right. Yeah, rough calculation is like 1,000 views is $1, give
Yeah.
or take. So you can't really make a living off of it. It's a hobby. But if they're going to charge me and make it go on my taxes, then I'm going to make it into a business. And I'm a bankrupt business every year. Luckily, I have a real job.
Yeah. Like many of us, to afford collecting or to have a collection. So I guess going over to you, Sonny, what made you get into Transformers?
Obviously, just growing up with it. That's where it started. Watching the show, pretty much my whole childhood. I kind of had a hiatus. I went away from it, so I didn't have a lot of Transformers. I didn't grow up poor. I grew up cheap. My parents didn't want to buy brand name toys. They could afford it, but they didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of Transformers, I had GoBots or some no name robot. Instead of Legos, I had Constructs. I don't know if you guys ever played with Constructs.
Oh, I love
Yep.
Constructs.
Yep.
So I had a lot of those kind of toys. I had a couple of Transformers, but my cousins actually, a couple of them stole them. They just took them. And then the rest, I gave away because they were younger than me. I was the older one. So I pretty much gave away all my toys. And then later, kind of regretted giving it away. So I got back into it really late. I think like I was 30. I was already 30 when I
Okay.
started collecting again. And it was because my wife found MP10 at Toys R Us when we had Toys R Us. We don't have it anymore. Anybody here from Canada, or is everyone from the U.S.? Pretty good sign. Okay. Oh, two of you.
Spain
All right.
is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Canada, you still have Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And I was happy to have gone in the store. It just was very nostalgic. But back when we had it, they still had Transformers. And when Masterpiece came to Toys R Us, that was really like the start of it for me. That was the start of my collection. Is when the first MP10 came there, and then from there I was hooked. My wife didn't know that. She was getting me into this whole thing, but she bought me two. She bought me one to keep and one to keep boxed, which is crazy because you wouldn't think, a wife would buy two.
That's a good woman.
Yeah.
That she had no idea this was going to happen, though. She just thought that was it. That's MP10.
What did I do?
Yeah.
Who was MP10?
Optimus.
Oh, okay. Tells you how much I know about the new stuff. I thought that was 01.
Well, 01 came out in Japan. It never. It came out here in Walmart, but it wasn't called MP01. It was called the 25th
MP01.
anniversary Optimus Prime. So
Got
everybody thought, oh, this is a one-time thing. It's not going to come out again. It's just they did it for the 25th anniversary. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know there was a whole MP line. It was MP01. You're right, but I wasn't educated on it, so I didn't know. So had I known, I would have looked into, okay, what is this MP line? I bought that too, by the way, MP01, back when it was Walmart exclusive. It was awesome, but it wasn't like a collection. It was just I bought that one figure.
Right.
But MP10 is when I figured out, hey, there's this whole other world I didn't even know exists. I think alternators too. You asked me what got me into it.
Yep.
Alternators kind of got me back into Transformers also because I'm a big car guy. So if I wasn't doing this, I'd be probably modifying and like buying cars or building.
I like this guy already. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Yep.
That's what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing this. But all my money's in this. I can't do both. But at the time, I had a Mustang at the time, and then these cars come out.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the 20th anniversary. That's right. Yeah. See, so that looks like it's a one-time thing, like,
Yep.
hey, get this cool Optimus Prime. It doesn't look like it's a set of, part of a bigger line.
Right.
So yeah, I like that. I like the alternators. They kind of came around at the same time in Walmart.
Yeah, the alternators were really like highly detailed cars. Like they were modernized versions of what the Autobots should have been, but they were highly detailed and all licensed from different companies.
Yeah, and the focus was the cars, right? Not the robot modes were like meh. They weren't great, but the alt modes were amazing, and they looked just like the car. They're officially licensed. They had the engine, they had the interior, they had opening doors. I mean, it was everything a car guy would want. So like, I got really into those. I had the whole thing. I bought every single thing,
Nice.
and then I found out about those. Yeah, those. I don't have them anymore, but man, you have it like nice and clean in the box.
Dope.
Shiba
He
Kobe on
doesn't
YouTube.
know me. He doesn't know me.
Oh, look at all those boxes. Oh man.
Yeah. So Shiba Kobe on YouTube says, I'm back. I was gone all day. So welcome back, Shiba Kobe. And also says, I have Alternator, Ironhide, Hound, Mirage, and Sideswipe. And I know Professor D, actually, yeah, he's there. He also has got into alternators. Because when we used to work together in music, like he started buying the alternator line,
Right.
and Bill has like just a ton of stuff hidden in his collection there. So anything you name, like he'll probably like pull it out and show
Vinyl
you.
Tech. Pull out the Vinyl Tech ones. You have
Well,
those?
that one I don't know.
It's
So
I don't-
Japanese alternators.
yeah, the
I don't
Japanese alternators.
So I heard a rumor that Hasbro is going to start doing Hot Wheels Transformers. Has anybody else heard that?
Yeah, they're crossover between Mattel and Hasbro. They're doing a partnership. So Hot Wheels and Transformers. I can't wait. I've been waiting for those.
Yeah. Is it going to be like a 2-pack with robot version and the vehicle, or is it just going to be all the vehicles?
I don't know, but that's intriguing to me because I found the Lancia Stratos, and it looks exactly like Wheeljack, so I bought it because I was like, hey, this is Wheeljack. But I'd be super excited for Hot Wheels line. I'd buy them, especially if they're premium. They should do premium for those,
Yeah.
the rubber tires and the die casts and all that. Mr. Magnus, do you have Vinyltech?
Are you saying BattleTech?
Vinyltech,
No, I do not.
the metal ones.
I do.
All right, so that was another thing that got me back into
He had the alternator joint right there.
Yeah, the
Right,
alternators.
I got one of the alternators right here.
So
Bad
that's
internet
what
connection, sorry if I'm
that's how I
cutting in there.
discovered
I'm seeing what I can do to
Japanese.
fix it here.
Like that's a whole different world. I didn't even know there was this whole MP line and all these Japanese toys that we weren't getting here. Like, and then it was over. Like then it was like, okay, now I gotta buy all the Takara Tomy masterpiece. Right. So that's kind of what, how I discovered it was the Vinyltech kind of led me to the masterpiece stuff.
So everything you review on your channel, is that all your stuff?
No, nope. Like I said before, it'd be impossible. For example, this guy right here is not mine. This was sent to me by Matt Partsformer. This is the Magic Square. I have some other stuff lying around, but it would be impossible to buy it all. It's just not feasible. So one person sends me 3-0 stuff to look at. Another guy sends me flame toys. Another guy is sending me the he gets these guys and also some of the new age stuff.
Okay.
I just can't buy it all. It's not possible. So without the help of friends,
there's so much coming out too, right? Like every single week there seems to be like 20 different characters coming out from 10 different companies.
That's why I'm glad I don't collect the new stuff. I couldn't keep up with it.
It's just too much. Yeah. So yeah, I try to review as much as I can, but it's not possible to do it all. Are you guys fans of Bobby Skullface?
Yep.
Yes.
None.
So I'm sure it's mixed. There's a mix.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I like Bobby because he's kind of like, if I want to hear a review and get a negative opinion, he'll give it, right? Like he's not shy about giving that,
Right.
I don't like this, right? And that's one of the first things I said when I was starting the channel. I'm just going to do it raw. And if during transformation I screw up, I'm going to show everybody that I'm just like everybody else when I buy a toy. This is my first time transforming it. And but when he does his, he's already mastered the transformation. He does clean videos, but he will give you that negative aspect of it almost every single time.
You took a hammer to overdrive. I couldn't believe he did that.
Yeah.
Who is it you guys are talking about?
Bobby Skullface.
Okay.
He
Took
was
a
one of the
hammer
first.
to overdrive.
He was the first guys to do it. Like it was very early on YouTube. By the way, I'm a big fan of whether you hate him or love him. I'm a big fan of his channel. I don't know how he does it. It's impossible what he does. So the content you see on YouTube is like a small fraction of the content that he makes. He makes at least one video a day. He does 3 podcasts a week.
Wow.
And then he does other non-Transformer stuff like Hot Toys and whatever.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Think about how much product is moving through his house every week. Every week he's getting at least 7 to 10 toys are coming in. Some of them are not his. Some of them are being sent. But how do you even do it? How can you make more than one video a day and a podcast and have 3 kids and do all this? It's craziness. I don't know how he does it.
He must have some kind of backstage help, you know, like I can't read everything that goes on in one day just on the normal forums, you know. It's like, wow, this is so much information to take in, and it's like, I'm going to stick to stuff that I think I want to review, and eventually maybe I'll buy some stuff that other people like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good plan.
The Deceptickitty from YouTube says the alternator line was great. And
Alternity. Yeah, Alternity was
Alternity?
Slightly different than alternators.
Oh, okay. I don't even know if the Alternity line.
Yeah, Alternity it started with the Nissan GTRs. So they made a bunch of Nissan GTRs. It was like Optimus, and I think there was a Megatron and a few others, like all different colors. And then they had the Japanese ones, of course. They had to have the unique, you know, exclusive Japanese ones. Oh, there you go. Man, you guys have everything.
Well, that's one of the great things about what I found from all these guys. Like I've only been coming on for about a month here, but if I don't have it, someone else has it, which is amazing. And the collective of us, we got pretty much everything, right? Like it's very refreshing to have other people to speak about Transformers with too, since like I said before, there's nobody in my city to do this. I feel like I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, no worries, guys. I got G1 covered.
Same.
I got our G1N covered.
G1 all day, every day.
Hey, what's up, RJ?
RJ Eagle says, howdy, TM reviews. And Professor Day is working on his internet at the moment. So paying for Rogers gigabit internet, meanwhile getting 11 MPS right now.
You Canadians and your Rogers. It's so
I don't
ridiculous.
Deal with Rogers.
I don't deal with Rogers. Tell your hamster to run faster.
Well, like, I was in Canada. I was in Toronto for TFCon last year, and Rogers was out. Like, the internet was out.
Yes.
And it's like the country can't function. Like, every gas station, every hotel, every place you go, they need Rogers or they can't function. I was like, why would you rely your whole country on one company?
It's a monopoly, and I don't want to steer away from from Transformers too much. But between the big companies of Rogers, Bell, basically Rogers and Bell are the main internet for like phone or cable, and Rogers just kind of has that hold on the entire country of like telling everyone, well, go through us. Once they fell apart, the entire country fell apart. And even myself not being under Rogers, that put a lot of stress on our network. So basically, everyone's phone was down. Half our work couldn't be done for the day because then like stores weren't working. And I remember that because right for the TFCon for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I wasn't able to make it for the Friday because all of our work just was a mess for that entire day. And we couldn't get a hold of anyone.
Yeah, I remember it because I was using my cell phone, internet on my phone instead of from the hotel.
Right.
And then eventually I ran out of data because I was in Canada.
Okay.
And so then I couldn't upload anything. But yeah, that's.
Well, that's a funny thing. When we stream from the hotel, we don't use the hotel Wi-Fi because hotel Wi-Fi just just fails. So I just go directly from the phone.
Yeah, I watched a couple of your videos just to check it out.
Cool. So RJ Eagle says Alternity came out afterwards, but they were much smaller scale than the alternators. They were cool, but it was weird to see the Seekers in the Alternity line.
Yeah, they did Bumblebee and Cliffjumper and the Seekers. They were some weird Japanese car, like I forgot what it's called, but it was like a sports car. And it was a good line because the cars were like on point. Like they nailed the car mode.
Okay.
But the robot modes again were just way like they were whatever. They weren't masterpiece.
Right. So do you like looking at your channel and everything, do you more focus on just Masterpiece, or do you have like a few other lines that you like kind of that you like as well?
Well, here, let's see if I can get the camera. So on this corner shelf, you see that down there?
Yes.
There's some G.I. Joe stuff. There's some turtles right there. Kind of
Nice.
hidden. Hard to see. Oh, this is my setup, by the way, for filming.
Okay.
And then there's below that, there's some G.I. Joe stuff. But I don't typically film it because it's, people come to my channel for Transformers.
Right.
So if I put anything that's non-Transformers, it doesn't get watched, right? So it's not worth the editing. Editing is the most expensive thing about making videos in terms of my time. It takes the most time. So
yeah, I agree with that. 10 minutes.
Okay,
of
that's
filming.
not mine. Mine's the
10
script.
minutes of, 10 minutes
Oh,
of filming,
if you're
an hour
scripting
of
it, that's a
editing.
different story. I don't script, but if you're scripting it, then yeah, that's going to take a lot of time. But for me, since I don't script, it's all editing, and I'm not going to edit a video of, I don't know, a G.I. Joe if it's not going to get views. But now what I do is for members, I do it.
Okay.
So I have a members part to my channel now, and I think
I got to look into that.
Because I joined it.
Oh yeah, I joined it a long time ago.
I wasn't gonna do it. Like I don't want to charge for content, so I made it the lowest possible. It's $1 is the lowest you can go on memberships. So I made it $1, and I don't plan to change it ever. But one of the reasons I did it is there's features that you can't access unless you turn on membership.
Got it.
So
okay.
There's like certain emojis you can't turn on. There's publishing. So if you want to publish ahead of time to a small group, you can only do that through membership. You can't do it any other way. So I just wanted those features, and I was like, well, there's people that they were asking me like, are you going to do this? And I'm like, I don't want to charge people for my content, but hey, if they're willing to pay $1 a month, okay, sure.
See, I think you started a craze there, because I've even been asked by 3 different people in the last month if I'm going to do it. And I'm like, I'm not even monetized. I got my 500, but I still need like 1,000 watch hours here, guys. I'm brand new.
Yeah. It's good for the people that are hardcore supporters, like the people that really like your content or just like you, and they want to get more. That's so the kind of stuff I put there. I mean, to answer your original question, Spoon, is, do I do stuff other than Transformers? That's where I put that content. I put it on the members because I figured they're going to be appreciative of it the most.
Right.
So, like, just for example, like one day I randomly went into my storage unit and I had to like arrange some boxes. So I took a video of the boxes to show my like insane OCD storing these boxes, and I put that on the members channel, right? Because that's a video that really wouldn't. Like, what's the point in posting that on YouTube?
Right.
The people that pay for the extra to be for the members, they're watching it for you. They're not so much watching it for the toy content. They're watching it for you.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, I didn't think it would be successful because I was like, who's going to want to pay? But now, I got quite a few members there. So I was like, okay, I guess they were right. They were right to ask me to do it.
But do you think of it as about the price of a cup of coffee or something? Like, if you're paying that $5 a month or something, that's not too bad if you look at it like that.
Yeah. Well, I made it $1 a month, which is the lowest you can make it. But, right.
So let's go into the comments. So Shiba Kobe was mentioning Rogers, Bell, and Telus are our 3 main companies. Decepticity says Mitsuko Oroshi. No, I'm
You're
not sure what.
Introduce your boy here. He's been waiting.
Yes, Mr. Calvin. Let me get a couple more comments, and then we'll get to Calvin's. So RG Eagle was saying, do you do random reviews, or is there a preference in terms of lines? which then he realized I kind of asked the same question. So he then says, I'm assuming reviews are based on what you have in hand,
Yeah.
but do you do reviews based on new popular items versus a 10-year-old generations figure that's not popular?
Yeah, I don't review anything old. It's definitely not generations. I don't review any generations that are like 10 years old. Like, but I did just get this Terminus Giganticus, which is kind of old, but I know that's going to perform well, so I'm going to do a review of it, even though it's old. But typically, I won't review old stuff. If
I can attest to the old stuff not being very. It's more like, because it's if everyone wants new stuff. When it comes to like new content and the new toys. And I've noticed with the Toy Work channel that it's really only people surfing late at night and being nostalgic about stuff that come across watches the old stuff. So yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. Typically, it's so Masterpiece. My channel is called TM Reviews. TM stands for Transformers Masterpiece Reviews. It's supposed to be a play on words, but it's a joke that nobody gets because the review is a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece of a review. But anyway, that's how I got the name. So it's focused on Masterpiece, and then of course third party Masterpiece scale. So that's like the primary thing I do. But lately, it's been a lot of this because that's what's coming out. I mean, they're pumping these out at a crazy rate. I mean, it's at least double the rate of Masterpiece.
Okay.
We're getting more than one a month. New Age is doing at least one a month, sometimes two a month. New figures, like brand new designs, which if you think about the cost of that, the molds aren't cheap. Production isn't cheap.
Oh boy, you got that sacred stash, don't you? You got that food.
Yes, well, welcome, Calvin. So TM Reviews, this is Calvin.
Oh yeah, you got that right. All right, so you did get him food, right?
Mr. Right. Iceman, he comes in every week as well. So welcome.
So yeah, I stick to mostly Masterpiece per party, but now the hot thing is Legends. So I've been doing some Legends too.
Okay.
Now the Transformers that are yours, do those just when you do a video go back in your collection? Do you sell them off to afford more? What do you do with them?
Well, you can see them all right behind me. That's everything.
That's everything. Okay.
Yep. It's all along this one wall. I made a weird decision. Well, for better or worse, I made a decision not to buy Detofs or like Billies early on, and just everything's floating shelves. But because I hate the bottom shelf. That was my issue all along, is I hate the bottom two shelves of any shelving system. So I got these. But the problem with that is I have half the storage of most people.
Right.
Because I have no bottom shelves. So it ends, that's the bottom shelf there.
Damn.
So because of that, I don't have as much space. Like this whole wall is filled, but I don't really want to go beyond that. So I do sell stuff.
Oh no.
But usually it's because it's like a new figure came out and I don't need the older one.
Right.
Like
Slacker.
Or Cliff Jumper.
You have to dedicate a 30 by 30 room and all four walls. Come on, man.
Let me see Bill's background back there.
Do you have kids?
Mine are all grown. This was all in storage until they moved out of the house.
The rest of this basement that you can't see is filled with my daughter's stuff. So like when that goes away, which is probably pretty soon, because teenager wise, that's probably when the toys go away.
Yep.
So I'll probably take over one more wall, but I decided to keep it like this because I didn't want to take up the whole basement with just my own stuff. I wanted her to be able to play down here and have her friends over and not be like, hey, you can't go downstairs because daddy's Transformers are down there. But I didn't want to make it a place where she couldn't play. But once that's over, then I'll probably expand. Right now, this is my limit. Like that's where it's going to go. So I do sell stuff. I forgot who asked the question, but I do sell stuff usually when it's either got replaced or I just get out of the line.
So Primax on YouTube says they want to be a member of TM Reviews, but weird. I can't see a join button on mobile. But then also has a question: ever had old MPs like pre MP10?
Damn.
Yes, I had MPO1.
MPO1 representing in the building right here. Bill, we brought it to us in the box, the 25th anniversary Prime. Here we got out the box.
Get that close-up beam footage going on here. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, let me explain. I was bad with in the comments. I need to apologize. I now have my 926 gigabit internet speed by plugging in. So it's an issue with my card, my Wi-Fi card, or my Wi-Fi router. But now I'm plugged in. I'm all good. Sonny, what's good? Glad to have you on the show.
Hey, just push the mic up. You'll be okay. Push the mic up. Push the mic up. So you gotta do is push the mic up. There you go.
All right, bro. Thank. Good looking, my G.
It's better.
You hear me? All right. Okay, hold on. How about that? I could also turn it up a bit, but is it good now?
Yeah, it's good.
I can hear you.
Okay, Spin. Was everything that I said clear enough? Do I need to repeat anything?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
RJ Eagle has a question for TM Reviews. Do you purchase multiple third-party versions of a figure, example Ocular Max Bruticus, versus Make Toys version versus Fan Toys version, and do comparisons of each? And I guess, does that get expensive?
Well, that question makes me think,
doesn't it?
What was that?
I mean, number one, the question kind of answers itself. Number two, obviously, you've already answered about part of it. Obviously, you can't buy everything.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
yeah.
if he's asking if I do comparisons, then he's probably not watching my channel, because that's like one of the biggest things I see on my channel.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So, let me just say, officially on Children of Primus. Is my mic cutting out? Oh my God.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, officially on Children of Primus, we murder Prime a lot of other channels. We're very critical of other channels around here. But we officially endorse TM Reviews. I've been a fan of TM Reviews. You know me as Professor D. I'm up in your comments section a fair bit. Awesome. Also known as Big Papi Omni Swami Sajnani in the building. You know what I'm saying? But humbly as Professor D, when I'm just doing my thing.
Does anyone else?
RJ says
anyone else have a different screen name that they don't have here?
Yeah, trying to figure out who these people really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, in short, Professor D has like a novel worth of names, like 1,000 pages a piece or something.
As all Greek gods do. Also known as Bhagwan Shiva.
Oh no.
Dr. Diecast says, "Hey guys, so welcome, Dr. Diecast from YouTube."
That's my good friend.
Nice.
He sends me stuff for review too, by the way.
So that's one of the main reasons why I started watching your channel way back, is because you were doing the comparisons like right away, and I really appreciate that, because that made me decide which toy I was going to spend the little money I had on, because and still to this day, I still watch your channel. Even we all pre-order stuff at the same time, but because I'm in Canada, you're in the United States, you get stuff a lot sooner, and I don't. And I still watch your video, even though I bought the toy, and be like, yep, I'm glad I bought this one, because you kind of confirmed everything that I had questions about.
Nice.
So
that's called confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've already bought the toy and you're planning to do a review.
Well, yeah, but before in the past, I didn't buy the toys, right? But now I'm seeing the toys come along, and we're buying the same stuff, and it's going on and on.
But has it ever happened to you yet, as it has with me, where I bought the toy. I think I'm going to do a video review, which I never do. But I got it coming, and then I watch Bobby's review, which is the bad thing to do if you bought the toy. Watch Bobby's review.
Hey, so
But I watch Bobby or I watch TM reviews. Now, if you watch Baldwin, Deluxe Baldwin, then you're never going to get anything negative about your toy. So no problem. Now, if you're watching TM reviews, if there's a real problem with the toy, he's going to let you know. But he likes most things, but he will tell you if there's a problem. Whereas Baldwin will be like, the leg fell off. Well, I was a little disappointed. My leg fell off. But he's a good guy, right? He's a good guy. And look, I took these pictures anyway. Check out my photo gallery, right? So I recommend it. So Sonny's not going to do that. But Bobby, you guys know how Bobby is. So, Freakenstein, did you ever have it on the way? You were getting ready to do your review. You saw TM reviews, and you're like, yo, I need to cancel that order.
My thing is this. It doesn't matter how many videos are out of that toy. I'm going to still do my own version of the video.
Sure.
And, when I do the transformations for my video, if it's not from my old collection, I've had it already and it's brand new, I will do it with the instructions right in front so everybody can see. So, it doesn't hinder my purchase options now, but in the past it did.
hey, quick thing on the comparisons, since RJ, since you asked, Bobby is actually my inspiration for doing comparisons, so he deserves the respect for having been the first person to do it. I built my own style of doing it, but
yeah, no doubt.
He was definitely an inspiration, and his inspiration was actually John Garinger. So John Garinger did it way back in the day. So I don't want to take credit for having come up with the comparison thing, but I do have my own style. People come to my channel because of it. They like it, but it's not. I didn't create it. It's someone else.
What I love about the way you're giving that lineage back to John Garinger's, because Bobby also, when he explained it, he says, I got this from John Garinger. And John was doing this thing, and it is funny how you guys have evolved. Because John Garinger literally had a whiteboard, and he's got his Dinobots, and he's trying to figure it out for himself. He was not thinking about this is for an audience, right? You could see this guy, even though he's got his board here, and he's drawing it out. Well, I don't know, they get the Dinobots like this, So, and he was doing his smackdown just on a whiteboard, and so Bobby. He did his style, you've done your style, and I'm sure eventually on here we're going to figure out some way to do it, Murder Prime, figure versus figure. Maybe I'll have one figure, Freakenstein has the other. It's an all-out smackdown. You never know who's going to win. childreofprimus.com.
I will tell you, it's a lot of work.
I'm going to step up on the
that's what I got all these
soapbox
guys
a
for.
little bit, too.
You think I have them all here because they're good looking? I need to put these dudes to work.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm going to step up on the soapbox here in a little bit on some of the things that I was working on this weekend.
Awesome.
I sent some pictures to spin. Actually, it was to the group. Everything. If you looked at them, I did a bunch of DK or DNA upgrade kits this weekend, and one of the things that I've been bitching about from the get-go is, why do we have to buy the upgrade kits? Why don't they just come that way? Mm-hmm. And the upgrade kit for SS86 Grimlock.
Yes.
They work together. The people that made the DNA upgrade kit and Hasbro worked together because there's a hidden piece that becomes unhidden whenever you put the upgrade kit on it. And there's no reason for that piece to have any detail on it whatsoever if you don't have the upgrade kit. It is completely invisible. You cannot see it in any form when it's being transformed, anything. But when you put the upgrade kit on it, it becomes visible. So they knew. When they made the piece, they knew.
Conspiracy.
And that just goes right through me. Yeah, here's one of the ones that I did.
Okay.
This is for the oversized Jim Bow gravity builder, and it's wicked.
So, and how much is this set? Because I'm looking at right now. I just unpacked these guys.
It's like $20.
That's dope. Because I have them. I just have them on display in bot mode right now. The individual
What does it do?
figures.
What does it upgrade?
It upgrades the Jim Bow oversized Devastator.
No, I mean, sorry. What's the function of it? Like, what's it doing?
It adds height.
For this one, it makes him a whole lot more steady. The Jim Bow Devastator is very top heavy, and so he gets a little flimsy and gets a little wobbly. This right here stiffens him up like mad.
Yeah, well, what I can tell from looking at this image is this is not the original upgrade kit that came out for this figure it's
not.
This figure came out years ago. Hold on.
The drill is.
Bill, let me say something. Bill, let me say something. Yeah, it looks to me like, and I want to hear you comment on it. So my question to you, actually, as I'm looking at the picture, and Sonny, you can comment as well, because I know you got the combiners I'm going to reference. Looks like this is inspired by the Zeta Toys model. Like that looks to me like the Zeta Toys Superion crotch. So I think they're basically taking whoever made this upgrade kit is sort of copying the Zeta Toys model and saying, hey, we can make that kind of torso and hips and just stick the Jin Bao figures on it. Is that your impression, Mr. Magnus?
I don't know, because I don't know that upgrade kit.
Oh, you don't have this one. Okay.
I have this one that's on the screen right now. These are my pictures
I'm commenting on this one here. I'm saying, are those hips not from the picture? I'm getting the impression that's sort of like engineering-wise, that's a copy of like the Zeta Toys Superion. So I think you have the Zeta Toys Superion, right? So if you have both,
but I don't have the upgrade kit for it.
No. He's just talking about the regular Zeta Toys Superion.
The hips
pants are similar to these. He's asking, is it upgrade make it similar?
I don't have it here, but it definitely.
That's what I'm saying is I don't have the Superion upgrade kit, so I can't say that they're alike.
Upgrade kit. I'm just talking about you have Zeta Toys Superion, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, this upgrade kit that you just bought, my theory is, whoever engineered this, designed it, they were copying the Zeta Toys Superion.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying they were copying their upgrade kit. No, it is a whole lot similar to it.
Yeah, okay, exactly. So that's what they've done. They saw like the Zeta Toys scale style, that's the way to go. And they're just, throwing the combiners on it. And so, yeah, it looks dope.
So there was a Like Toys upgrade kit for this Jin Bao set.
Right. So that's the one I initially thought that Bill was referencing when he said he was getting the Jin Bao set, the upgrade kit. And I'm glad that I didn't get that original one, because this one looks like it's better. Do you agree, TM Review?
Well, that one is ridiculously expensive. So, I mean, it's almost more than the figure.
Right.
So, I don't know.
The drills, I actually have that kit as well. The drill hand there actually comes from that other kit. This kit just has the upgraded forearms.
Right.
Yeah. This kit just has the upgraded forearms, the center torso piece, the feet locks for both sides of it, 2 flanges that go underneath of that chest piece and that chest piece. Like I said, it's $20. And the head. That head comes with it as well. But the forearm locks make it to where these drills fit perfectly, whereas before they were a little sloppy, and if you put the hands in certain positions, they would fall off because they're just kind of gravity locked on there. With these new forearm locks pieces that go on here, it all locks on tight. The shoulders are now tight. They're more centered instead of towards the back of the bot, which gave it more back weight, and he always tried to lean back, trying to tip over. This piece is just, or this set, this upgrade kit is just phenomenal for that kit, that Gravity Builder kit, which I was a fan of it before. I'm a big fan of it now. Of course, now he's too big to fit in my damn shelf, so I'm going to have to modify the shelf.
So I got a question about that. So I didn't get the green one. I just didn't.
I can't hear freaking sound at all.
Hello?
I hear him
I
fine.
can hear him.
I hear
Yeah, I
him.
can hear him.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with him. Who
You
can
all
hear
can
him?
hear me now?
You're good. You're
Okay,
good. Go
Now
ahead,
I
bro.
can.
So I was going to buy the green one, but at the time when I was trying to buy the green one, it wasn't available anywhere. Like even on Alibaba Express, I couldn't find him. They did have the black one, but I've never had a stable like problem with him. But I think the black one, they did like it did come with extra pieces. So I think I got like the upgrade kit kind of free with that because I did have to take pieces off and put them on. It's been so long since I got it, but I think the black version did come with the upgrade kit because I did get those the drills right with it.
Quite a mystery. We got a number of comments we got to catch up on. RJ Eagle says, that's awesome. TM Reviews for the shout out to Bobby. Brian Benner is back. We're glad we were missing you. Now we can continue with the stream. Max says, Bobby got them chubby hands.
Facts. Those are facts.
You know, these are the facts as we know them to be. Brian Benner also says, sadly, Target didn't have the figure, but I found a ROTB Scourge Funko Pop. Obviously, he's in some
Of course, it never fails with Target. Of course.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. That was directed Iceman, our resident Target critic expert.
No, and that's also there. Look at Toy Warp's face the minute you say Funko Pop.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got to make a Funko Pop joke. Yeah.
Instant flamethrower. Any Funko Pop, instant flamethrower. Just throw them in the incinerator.
Noise. Somebody needs to mute their mic. If you're walking or making some noise, keep your mic muted if you're not speaking. Okay, Max. That goes for everybody. If you're not talking for a while, just keep your mic muted. We'll have a cleaner sound. Max, Jin Bao Devi is a KO of Combiner Wars, right? Incorrect. Jin Bao Devi is a KO of Generation Toy Devastator. So it's a highly stylized, highly detailed. It's kind of like a counterpart. If you were watching our show last week or recently, Freakenstein has been showing off the Dreamstar aerial bots and the way those are highly stylized in the same way as the Warbatron sets are highly stylized. That's what Generation Toy was doing with this with the Jin Bao Devi. So it's not slavishly G1, but it's like heavily maybe unlike the Dreamstar. I was criticizing the Dreamstar stuff for, as was Bobby when he reviewed it, for not having enough of the G1 callbacks in the design, in the aesthetics. With the Generation Toy line of figures, they have a really good balance. Sonny, I think you would agree. I think you've handled all these same figures that I'm referencing, so tell me what you think. And also, where are you on that stylization? I think you're also, here's a question for you. Tell us where you are on this line. I think I'm in the same place as Bobby, where I want it to feel G1, look G1. That doesn't mean that I need it to be straight off the screen. Like somebody I heard saying recently, they would like to see the Fans Toys Dinobots redone with yellow paint. And I hate the yellow paint on the Dinobots. Like me, I'm hardcore chrome. Like when I was watching that cartoon as a kid, yeah, I saw yellow, but I'm not stupid. I know it's supposed to be gold. So my imagination is seeing gold. And then when I grow up, I want gold on the shelves. By the way, that's our heritage. We're supposed to have all this gold on the shelf. Anyway, that's my soapbox. Where are you on that line? Or do you like it super toon accurate? Are you happy with like the newer Masterpiece stuff that has gone in that direction?
That's a tough question. But let me answer RJ Eagle because he asked Nemesis or Arc. Definitely Nemesis. The Arc is I like the Arc, but like it's the first Arc, the only Arc. I don't think we ever got the Arc, right? We've never gotten an Arc.
No, that's the first one.
No, this was our first one, yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice to get the Arc finally, but it was incomplete. Like there were giant holes in the side.
Yeah.
Upgrade kits to fix that. There were holes on the back. Nemesis is the way to go. If you're gonna pick only one, pick the Nemesis.
But I mean, both of them. Would you agree? Both of them, the alt modes are throwaway.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
But he asked which one I would.
Yeah.
I'd pick the Nemesis.
Yeah. No,
All right. So
definitely.
as far as the tune question, I do like tune accurate. I mean, that's most of my collection is that direction.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a place where you can go to tune, and it makes it worse. I think fans.
So what's an example of a figure? Give me a figure that like somebody like Bobby might say that's too tuned, but
Fans
you
Toys
love
Blaster, I think went too far.
Yeah.
To the tune side.
Yeah.
Especially the torso is like a little too wide and plain. Like there's no color on it.
Right.
You know,
literally just a red box.
Yeah, like
red
giant, big
triangle.
red, triangle. It was just, it looked kind of funny. Now I love Fans Toys. Like I'm a self-proclaimed, Fans Toys lover. I love Fans Toys.
Ditto.
But that was one where I was like, they kind of went too far.
Well, I'm going to say over to Charlie and Mr. Magnus. Do you guys have that version of Blaster?
Which one was it?
Fan Toys Blaster.
Recorder.
Yeah, no. Mine's sealed because I'm trading it to D. No, I have a transistor.
Yeah, see, I got that guy, and I'm not too happy. When I bought him at TFCon 2021, I brought him home.
Hold on, guys. Give Charlie the full screen. And Charlie, you can say which figures they are, because Mr. Magnus, the one that you reference is the DS, is the deformation space, which is not either of these. Instead, what we've got here, Charlie, tell us what you got.
Oh, the one with the sticker is the DS, and that one's Fans Toys.
Sorry, I talked over you. Say it again.
This one's a DS, and this one's the Fans Toys.
Right. So the deformation space, that is the one that Mr. Magnus has, and we're going to trade, and I'm going to trade him the transistor, which is not the Fans Toys. So he's got the Fans Toys there. You can see they're pretty similar. I think bang for your buck, you're way better off going with the deformation space.
Yep.
Dang.
So this is a perfect.
So Fans Toys officially lost this battle, and that's rare when they lose a SmackDown, but they lost this SmackDown.
I agree. So this is a perfect example of the microcosm you're talking about. So I think KFC is they're too far away. Mm-hmm. It's too toy for me personally.
Right.
Not that it's not a good. Okay. I bought 4 KFC transistors in my lifetime. 4.
I could go grab it right now for the sake of throwing them all on the screen, but I don't want to interrupt you, so keep going.
So I bought one, and it was like loosey-goosey. And I was like, I don't like this, and I sold it. Then they came out with a recolor. I was like, oh, maybe it's better. So I bought the recolor or the reissue, and that also had problems. So then I sold it. Then they came out with the metallic version. I was like, oh, maybe this one's better, and I bought that one. And then I was like, nope, that's not good. Sold it. And then I bought the orange movie. I guess it was a movie colors.
Yeah.
And same thing. The head is loose, and I just wasn't a fan. So I sold it 4 times. 4 times I sold. Yeah.
Wow.
You don't have to give me them.
So you don't so you have like a troubled history with this figure. You don't just it's not just got it wasn't perfect. You got a problem with this figure.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to give me the camera, but I bought KFC.
Guys, this is what I want to do. To the people who are directing, I'm not going to mention who that is. But to the people who are directing, what I want is less guys on the screen at a time. When people are talking, let the guy whoever's on their soapbox, not when it's an interjection, but somebody's answering a question, whatever, give them a full screen. Somebody's going on a rant like Professor D, once he starts talking, that's at least 2 minutes, if not 5. Give him the motherfucking screen. Okay. Let's get professional up in here.
Is somebody talking? Do you guys hear something?
Oh my God!
I hear static.
Yeah, it's been the whole time though, bro. You've been talking the whole time, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's backstage. Motherfuckers get deleted and shit. Okay. Anyway, back to TM reviews. I want you to finish up, and then I have a follow-up question on where you're at.
So KFC for me is too toy. It's not close enough. Also, the quality just wasn't there for me. Every time I bought it, I must just have. Keith just sends me his bad copies. He's like, here.
Yeah.
Team reviews.
This guy loves me no matter what. Send him the bad copy. Don't send it to Bobby.
Yeah. Then, but
Bobby
then
breaks it.
Fans
You know,
toys.
and that's despite Keith's best efforts, because Keith does send things to Bobby, but Keith tries to send, like, Keith goes to the factory and he's like, okay, guys, who's doing the QC? Give me the best QC piece that we have. Okay, send that one to Bobby. Bobby still breaks it.
Yep.
And then they say, and then he's like, oh, give the crappy one to Sonny. He's going to be careful of this.
Believe it or not, they don't pick them out anyway. They just send them. But anyway,
are you telling them that my story? It's not a true story. Listen, children. Everything you hear on Children of Primus is 100% true. Okay, this is a documentary, just like Ninjatron's documentary. All right, this is very serious information. You should try all of this at home, especially the vaping.
Sidebar.
Never mind the last part. Yeah.
Sidebar. No manufacturer has ever sent me a review sample. Everything I've reviewed, I either bought myself or a friend sent me. I've never gotten a review sample. Now, Bobby and some other reviewers, they have gotten review samples, but everything I've ever reviewed, I paid for with my own money or my friends paid for with their own money. So I've never gotten a free ride on anything. I think the only time I got free ride is 3D printers. You know, they'll send me. I mean, but that's that's a garage project, right? They 3D printed it.
Let's not
own home.
Let's not put down our fellow creators.
No.
I'm making Transformers for us.
I'm very happy to look at 3D printed stuff. I think it's very cool. It's a whole new market. It's probably the future, to be honest. Of Transformers.
Yeah. Well, okay. So talking about the future, this is the question I want to ask you, because now your story about Transistor really brought this into light. Brought it into relief, and some of the other questions people have been asking is, you sort of just stumbled into masterpiece collecting right at the beginning, which is maybe a couple years earlier than me. I started right around 2015 is when I found out about it, and that's coincidentally like near the beginning of when Bobby started doing videos, and I found out it through that and through Orlati, another brother on the channel who's not here right now. But so you've seen masterpiece collecting go through these different phases, right? And the evolution really of third party and how third party has responded, beginning with just upgrade kits and additions for your first chug figures, and then your official masterpiece, and then they started making the official masterpiece stuff. So I think you've been in it. I don't know what maybe that's a question for you. Did you have Quake Wave? I think Quake Wave, the Fans Toys Quake Wave was like the first third party figure where people were like, this is as good or better than a masterpiece, right? By the way, I'm on a soapbox. I should have the full screen right now. But I'm about to throw it over to TM Reviews. So my question to you, bro, is like, what was the best? And then during the pandemic, we had a lull. There were certain periods where like we had new figures coming out, and like it was like so awesome, and so there's peaks and valleys.
Right.
So what do you think was the best time in masterpiece collecting? What period are we at now? Are we at a low? Are we back to like a good period? And then what is the future?
Yeah. Well, I'll answer that question, then I'll also finish the other question. So as far as
asking a lot of questions and not getting the answer.
the toy versus tune thing, I think KFC was 2 toy, Fans Toys was 2 tune, and DS was kind of like right in the middle. They found a sweet spot. Yeah. So if I was picking just based on the aesthetic, I would have picked DS. But my problem with DS is the paint was really weird. And I knew they weren't going to finish. They're not going to finish the tapes. They're done.
Yeah.
They're not coming back.
Sadly. Too bad.
So unfortunately, I have to go Fans Toys because I know they're going to finish it. And they did finish it. Right? We got the whole set.
Yeah.
Within 2 months, we had the whole set. So I think that was the reason why I bought the Fans Toys, is I knew they were going to finish. So, like your question was, which ones, when is 2 tune too far? I think Fans Toys recorder is the answer. Right? That's 2 tune. But going back to like the high times, I think right now is a low time because competition is like the best part of third party, and we lost a lot of companies.
Yeah.
And like even MMC right now, and I don't have inside knowledge, but you know, it feels like, or it seems like they have monetary issues, right? Their budget is tight. They're releasing very few figures a year. They're kind of, you know, holding on and doing as just a little bit at a time. And the fact that they're doing it just for like small runs.
Yeah.
Small runs actually cost more.
Of course. Yeah. Per figure, of course.
It's more expensive.
Economies of scale.
It's a little strange that they're doing that. You would think they would do a mass release versus doing exclusives because small runs cost more, but
right. So indicating what you're saying is indicating they don't have the capital, and maybe this is also true of this is also true of Make Toys, and companies like this as well, right?
But I think
and too bad because they make good figures.
Right. But the best time was, I would prefer if you went back to the other camera where you had you guys on the side so I could see your faces.
Oh yeah. Can we do that layout?
That was nice because then we can see all of us, but you can focus.
I think we can. Yeah.
That way I can see what you guys are.
We lost Spin. Where'd Spin go?
Oh no!
Don't worry, he'll be back. He's just off camera for a minute.
So yeah, I think that was the best time because you had the most competition. You had the most companies putting out new product. Like Make Toys has to be in the game. If you just have Fans Toys and X-Transbots, you start getting lazy. Things start. Yeah. They could do whatever they want. They don't really need to compete. So I think the height was definitely before the pandemic, or maybe even the first year of the pandemic, before companies started folding. But now we've got companies folding. And I think that's a problem, right? Because it lets.
Boom! There, I got it.
Sorry, it lets people get off the hook, right? It lets them just coast. And I think coasting is bad for the hobby because then people get bored and move on. They'll move on to other stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to what you guys were saying about these guys right here. So I don't know if you guys can see.
Okay, whoever's doing that, I'm directing now. So
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, bro.
Here's the sling shoot character, and y'all were saying that you guys, some of you like it, some of you don't. But here's my opinion of it. I got every combiner that you could possibly think of, okay? And for someone to come out with something new that's realistic as in what we see in everyday life is something new for me because I've already got all the other combiners, and especially like this Thunder King back here from Chang Toys. Every single Predacon that I bought, I have not liked. It wasn't as tune accurate as I liked. It wasn't as, it was just all boxy. And then this guy come out, and the first character that I got, I was like, okay, this is something new. This is something I can get a different perspective of like, if this was Transformers starting now, right now, this is the kind of character and quality that I would want to have. So
I think the aesthetic, right? The look. It's like a mature look.
And same with this. I have the same opinions for these guys because they are very well built. And not only that, but I don't have them transformed in the robot mode or anything. But here's the Moon Studios, Radiotron or Raiden, whatever you want to call them. Raiden, yeah, exactly. But again, accurate for a train, accurate for a very good arm. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have all that other stuff, but this is how I'm thinking about it. If Transformers was made today, this is the kind of stuff they'd be putting out, and that's why I appreciate it, and that's why I buy it. They also have some kind of military ship ones that they're doing. I haven't bought any of them yet. I have them on pre-order, but I also want them because then I can like have a combiner that hasn't been made yet, and that it's just I get that appreciation that I think about it as if Transformers was made today, this is what it's going to look like. This is what it would be if it was in the cartoon. It would be a lot more kick-ass, right?
Let me interject with a little question here, and then you keep going. And TM Reviews, you could tell me what you think on this point as well. You're talking about how you appreciate the real world aesthetic. That's something that I also like, and that was part of what Masterpiece originally was. It's like the robots got to look like they are the robots from the cartoon. So they need those proportions, those features, but we also want them to look real. They transform into their vehicle form. They look like real vehicles. And that also is what the aesthetic of our original 1980s toys were going for, right? But then when you have the newer, for instance, the latest Fans Toys Cliff Jumper, they're totally not doing that. They're doing the alt mode, turning into the super deformed mode. And they did the same thing with officially. They did the same thing with the newer Bumblebee as opposed to the older one. So, what do you prefer? Do you like it when Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper, for example, turn into the real life Volkswagen vehicles, or just real life vehicles, or do you not? Or do you appreciate? Well, in this case, turning into that sort of deformed kind of Porsche is what we saw in the cartoon. I think maybe TM Reviews, I think that's what you said in your review, actually, if I'm remembering correctly. I think you like the vehicle despite let me not try to remember what you said, because I could mix it up with other people. You just tell us what you said, you think. But yeah, whether or not you think that's cool because it was on the cartoon, so it's representing the cartoon, or is that going too far?
No, my preference is definitely real world vehicles. Like,
yeah,
I want it to look like the real Porsche or the real Volkswagen Beetle. Like, I don't have MP20. Well, what's the new one? MP45. 44. The ugly one, whatever. the one that's got all the flaps. I don't have that one.
Optimus Prime you're talking
about? Sorry, the Bumblebee, the new Bumblebee.
Oh, the new Bumblebee. Yeah.
Because it's got all sorts of panels in order to make it look like that.
No, the backpack is a joke, right? That backpack and those feet are absurd.
So if the sacrifice you're going to have to make to get that is that, I don't want it.
But
so
Cliff Jumper's not a sacrifice, right? Cliff Jumper's clean.
Cliff Jumper's pretty clean. And in that review,
doesn't look very carish.
But you still like the real world vehicle. So
it doesn't at all. But in that review, I said, I thought I would hate the car mode because it's not a realistic car, but I actually didn't hate the car. But if they made it a realistic car, I would have preferred that. But I don't hate the Fans Toys car mode. It's fine.
Yeah. And hands down, they got the best bot mode for Cliff Jumper.
Right. But if they had made it in such a way that they sacrificed the robot, then all bets are off. Like, I don't want it. Like, I don't care about the accuracy of the cartoon if it ruins the toy, like if it makes it a bunch of panels.
Now, again, though, I'm going to get back to this a little bit. Sorry, guys, but for this guy here, if you've seen what's coming out, the third one that's coming out, he comes with like these two, I would call them shuttle carriers as well. So now, not only am I getting a version of the toy that it would look like today, but I'm also getting two more characters. And the same thing goes for this guy, this Thunder King. I get all the characters that were in the G1, just stylized a little bit different. But now there's also 3 more characters. There's the 8 that forms his crotch area, and then the feet are 2 wolves. So now I'm getting a little bit of a bonus, like an add-on to the character as well, which, again, I like seeing that little bit of difference, but it's still paying homage to the old cartoon stuff that they got, which is kind of a cool feature if you like that kind of thing. But I'll collect everything if I can.
Frankenstein, have you transformed? Did you transform that that Superion yet into combined mode?
I can actually show you the combined mode, what it looks like.
No, have you transformed it yourself?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. Here is one of the hands right here. I did break this piece, and I just got to fix it.
Did you not even do transformation videos? We got to let everybody know you need to subscribe to Freakenstein's.
I did do them.
Yeah, you can see the transformation video.
But here's the arm right here.
My issue with this was the hand. The
small hand.
Yeah, it felt like way too small compared to the combiner. It's going to be a huge combiner.
Yes, and what I'm thinking is that, you know, they've heard our opinions about that already. I know that, and I think it'll just be another, you know, add-on that they'll throw in while they're going, because, you know, while they're making these things, even with Chang Toys, I heard the rumors about this toy as well, that the proportions for certain things on here weren't correct, so they corrected them as they went, right? So I'm thinking, I don't know if these are like, people are telling me they're the same companies, like even this Moon Studio or whatever it's called here.
Well, Moon Studios is definitely Zeta. I can answer that definitively.
Yeah, like that's what I thought. But like, someone was trying to tell me that they're all kind of the same companies working together to produce these toys, which is cool, but also I'd like to see competition, you know?
Oh, there's a lot of competition.
Hey, yeah. The King Toys is interesting because that like opens up a whole new, like, what could we get out of that? Because they're really well built, like well made, well designed. They feel solid. They look really good in the robot mode and the alt mode. Combined mode is amazing. For me, it's a little too stylized, but I was never a Predaking fan. Like, I don't even have a Predaking, by the way. There's no Predaking in my collection. But so for me, you know, I wasn't going to buy it myself, but somebody sent me the whole thing, a whole box of all of them together.
Steven's not holding up a Predaking. I'm not sure why he's holding up something else, but yeah, go ahead.
But that figure is amazing. You know, if that's the direction third party went, like I wouldn't be upset. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, I got all the Dinobots pre-ordered already, man, because that's how much I like. What'd you call them? I call them Chang Toys. What did you call them?
Yeah, King Toys. Yeah.
I think it's Chang.
Well, I say Chang. I don't know why. I've heard other people say it that way, so that's what I said. Yeah. But if you say it's Chang, then, you know, you would probably know better than me.
No, it does. Whatever. Go to China, you'll figure it out. Just so you know. Yeah, but all bets are off.
Believe it or not, this is my first Skylinks ever. I've never owned Skylinks. But you know, now that I got him, and you know, he's right there with this guy. Yeah. I'm going to make a short video about him going up to this guy and saying, "What? No thanks," and running away with his tail between his legs. Like, that's what it feels like when I put this guy up there, you know? So, and like, you know, I'm starting to do a lot of things that I never thought I'd ever do, because like, I was just a collector, but like, I watched all your guys' videos for years. Even people from this channel, I watched their videos as well. And, you know, what got me to thinking about doing this is like, everybody's so professional with their videos, and I appreciate that because that helps me. But where's the guy that is just doing it straight from instructions? And I said, you know what? I'm going to be that freaking dude, and I don't care. I'm going to do it this way, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, if I break something and it's on camera, I don't edit it out. I'm like, look. And like, even when I was watching your video, your short for this big guy, I've seen you have the same problem that I had, and that was these panels right here. When you're transforming this thing and you're opening them up, like I can't even get it open right now. I used to use a butter knife, but if I look, see already, yes, you see, and we've talked about this early on another show. Wow. Why cannot Hasbro put a pin in this? It's not that expensive to put a pin in this, just to make it solid. But like, this is why I like third party a lot better than Hasbro, is because they still use those pins. They still do that stuff. and which I appreciate that. And plus, I'm getting a lot more accurate toys than if I bought a Hasbro toy.
Yes.
Okay. Catch up on the comments. I'm not sure if
just before you do that, I'm going to give Sonny a little warning here. We don't normally give people warnings, but it seems like Sonny is the kind of guy who may need a little heads up. So just, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, our talents and different kinds of things. And Sonny is not an aggressive dude the way some of our friends are, like Bobby. Bobby's a very aggressive dude, right? Nobody on the screen now nodding their head below me. But we have a segment here on Children of Primus called Murder Prime. And this is when you get on your soapbox and you do a tirade about something in the community, something related to Transformers that you hate, something that a company does that you hate, and you got to really just blow off your steam and get angry. And Sonny, you don't do that on your channel, and for good reason, because, we watch your channel to just chill out and listen to the
I can do it.
Music, right? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so get ready, because at some time we're going to come to you and it's going to be your moment to do your murder prime. So you can think about what you're going to criticize, what you're going to complain about. We each have our areas of expertise, our pet peeves, and we invite you to give us yours. But first, we're going to the comments. Spin back to you.
Yes. So RJ Eagle says to TM Reviews, I also saw the review on MPG 04, which has me worried as I have him pre-ordered. I'm collecting Raiden in general. Based on other figures, do you think Raiden will be a hit or miss?
I mean, he's answered his own question. It's going to be a miss. I mean, it's clearly a miss.
It's trash.
It's not good.
Studios.
Moon Studios is the answer. It's cheaper. It's way cheaper. It's like $300 cheaper. It's better. It's bigger in size. All three modes are better. The only thing I could say is maybe the train modes on Takara, because they're officially licensed and they actually look like the train. Some of the trains on the Moon Studio, they're like shrunken. They're not shrunken. They're like they're slightly different. What do you call it? Size than the official train. But who cares? Like you don't care about that. But other than the trains, everything about the MPG set is no good. Like it's too expensive for what it is, and it's not a good product. The combiner's not even going to be able to move. Like you're going to try to pose it, and it's not going to be able to pose just because of the way it's designed. So if you're getting it, I hope you're getting it for train mode, because that's where you're going to be the happiest. And you can put them on the tracks, put them in a line, or connect them together, or something like that. But if you're going to go to combine mode, just get Moon Studio. Spend less money for something better.
Let me just say this too about this guy. They designed him to fit most tracks that you can buy, like literally that you can buy for model kits and stuff like that. This guy fits those tracks. I just for the fun of my friend, he collects model trains and he's got all kinds of sets, and I just went around trying them on different sets, and I'm like, no way this fits on all that kind of stuff. Like it was just crazy. Yeah. It was crazy. I like that, and he even like hooked it up to his big locomotive, and he took it around, and I was like, man, when I got home, I was like, why didn't I film that? Why didn't I film that? I was like, you know what? I'm not going to see this guy for a month now. He's going to Jamaica for a month, and I just wait for him to come back so I can actually do that video. But,
The only reason I'm reviewing those MPG figures is because G Tony is buying them, and they're coming through me, so I'm gonna finish them, but I can't stand them. I can't wait to send them off and be rid of them.
Okay. So I got a question then. So you mean to tell me that I'm getting these train sets from Takara? You said when you combine them, they're stiff, and yet there's a bootleg version of these figures that's out there And if you're comparing the figures, one is like from IDW Comics, or is one just from the
Both G1.
actual anime series?
Yeah, they're both G1. Yeah, they're both G1, and the third party is miles better and cheaper. It's not even a comparison, actually. I never did a comparison because it's so unfair.
Oh, come on, man! There's nothing that's not fair. You got to put the two together and show people, like, okay, this is the difference.
Right. I'm gonna do that when we get to combine mode. I'm gonna do a versus. But the individual trains, I mean, they would lose every category.
Wow.
So,
well,
there was no reason.
Well, for me, I was going to get them anyway, just for the fun of it, for the sake of it. And then now you say there's a bootleg version, so now I want to see those.
Well, it's not bootleg per se, but yeah.
Yeah, KOs are bootlegs.
third party. It's third party.
Yeah, third party still bootleg.
All right.
It's just like having a pair of Nike, a pair of Jordans, and you know there's a knockoff version.
It's like having
what third party is doing that knockoff rating?
Moon Studios or Zeta.
Zeta.
Yeah, it's called Moon Studios, but it's the same company as Zeta.
Okay.
So Brian.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, Brian Swanson on YouTube says, generally I'm all about realistic alt modes. FT Cliffjumper was the one exception for me. XTB and a bunch of others already made the realistic card mode for the one, so I liked having the toon one.
Yeah.
And Princeton Phalanx 59 says, hello everyone from YouTube. How's it going? And Deceptickitty says, Freakenstein, Aaron Archer answered your question about why Hasbro doesn't use pins anymore. It's a matter of cost and reliability, so they opt for ball joints and breakaway parts.
Yeah.
See, I was there for that. I was actually there for that when I asked him that question. And the only thing that went through my mind was, you're paying more for plastic. Don't tell me that you can't put a pin in there when you're paying more for the plastic than the metal. Now, what he was trying to say is this, that the weight and the shipping cost would be different. But in my opinion, a small little pin on both sides that locked in wouldn't have caused too much.
It's a
too
fraction.
much weight for a scale. Okay, so, I understand where Hasbro's going, but I also look at it this way. I've said this once, I said this a million times. Hasbro needs to drop a lot of their lines and focus more on mainline stuff. Make something for 8 and under, and the rest should be Studio Series, Masterpiece. Drop the rest of these lines, like especially this type of stuff right here. This stuff right here. You guys heard me say a million times, this is like the worst thing that I've ever bought from Hasbro. Because I'll tell you why, again, since people have not been watching, but you see this elastic right here? Over time, this elastic will crack. It will break, just like the old G.I. Joes. And they don't even give you a replacement one. They should have one in oil in a bag so that it does not crack, so that later on, when it finally does crack, you can replace it. And you're telling me what an elastic in a little bag covered in oil is going to cost you much more money to ship it? I think, again, like I said, they need to drop a lot of their lines and focus on things like, again, the Studio Series and Masterpiece, because look at who's buying these toys. Look at who's buying these toys. These are adults that are mostly buying these toys.
That's part of the problem, right? Is Hasbro has to market and build it for kids to be able to buy it, right? Third party doesn't. You even look at the package, it says 15 and above, or sometimes it says
16.
more than that.
Yeah.
But you can't do that if it's going into Target or Walmart or some other storefront.
Again, that's why I said 8 and under for a certain line, and then the rest should be 8 and above.
I agree. I mean, the Nemesis could have been so much better if they had focused on adult collectors, but they're making those parts for breakaway, right? So that, like the top, the top part where you stick it in, it's rubber.
Yes, I don't
why did they
understand
make
that.
It's rubber because kids will hurt themselves if they hit themselves with that.
I'm an adult. I could still hurt myself.
Well, so not that, the other tough part. There's a part you had to plug in, which is like on the top of the cockpit.
Yes.
It's a piece of rubber.
Yes, right
it's
here.
Painted, but it's a piece of rubber. Yeah, that thing. The reason it's rubber is if a kid were to drop it or to like hit themselves with it, it wouldn't break or hurt them. It would just break away. It would come off the figure. And the same is true to those wings. Those wings just break away. They don't, instead of breaking, they break away.
Let me just ask someone that's probably still in the audience. Hopefully he still is in the audience, that question. TF Fan Forever. If you're still in the audience, I'd like you to answer this question. Can you afford a $200 toy? You know what I mean? That's where I say, you know, how many kids are going to buy this?
Right.
How many parents are going to buy this for their kid? They only made a limited number because they knew adults were going to buy this. Same with the Ark, right?
I agree completely. $200, no kid is buying this. It's for us. Obviously, it's for us. Just make it right. Stop putting the bullshit in there and just make it right. But
well, you know, I would add to what Freakenstein says, but D got me this character Spinister recently, and the one thing I will say, well, one, the backstory, the short form of my name Spin is Spinister. That was my DJ name years ago, and then, you know, they came out with the Decepticon Spinister. But it's like myself and Toy Warp, we're more of the G1 collectors. But the one thing that I am impressed with this figure is it has pins instead of ball joints. So it's just the quality-wise in terms of the transformation. Actually, let me just quickly change my setting here.
That's a well-done figure.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like right in here, there's like all the pins. One second. There we go. Yeah, so there's all the pins in the shoulders, in the legs and the hips and everything. And
yeah, this is a well-built figure. Like, this is Hasbro doing it right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very impressive figure, and I think it's like 27 steps to transform it, and like playing around with it after a few minutes, like you quickly figure it out, but just in terms of like the movement and everything, it's not popping out like other figures that I've seen.
So I got some questions for Mr. TM Reviews here, and I think we should get to asking questions, go one by one. And my first question for you is this.
Good idea.
So when I buy toys, a lot of people put them on their shelves, right? And just after they've done their reviews or done their unboxings or whatever the case may be, are you the type of person that will pick up that toy once you get it and keep playing with it over and over again, and maybe years down the line grab it and play with it again and transform it and that kind of situation? Or do you just leave it on the shelf? That's where it is. That's where it's staying.
I want to say yes. I pick them up and transform them. Usually it's because I'm doing either a comparison or somebody asked me a question about it, and I take it out to look at it. But when you have this many, it is not possible to take them all down and transfer them.
I guess I got a lot of time on my hands.
I mean, I do I like taking them down. I like transforming them. If you see my display, I have alt mode and robot mode, so I'll sometimes swap them. I'll put the other one, and then I'll transform both. So I do like to transform them, but obviously with this volume, there's no way you can Unicron's never getting transformed. That's permanent.
What about getting the upgrade kit so you could have the alt mode and the bot mode at the same time?
Can you see it back there? I have it.
Oh, you've got it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I do.
Well, you're never getting transformed. You don't need.
That's why it's never getting transformed again.
Yeah. So I got a quick little follow-up question to the question I asked you, though. The yellow toys, the plastic yellow toys like this guy right here.
What is that?
Okay. So this is part of G2 Menosaur.
Okay.
And he was sitting on my shelf for, I think, about 3 years, and I haven't transformed him or done nothing with him. But as soon as I went to transform him, the yellow plastic seems to be brittle on every Hasbro character that I've ever had. And I wasn't even doing anything, wrenching on or anything. It just... So, has that ever happened to you when you were retransforming your toys after a few years?
So I live in I don't know if it's where I am in my house or where I live in the country. I live in New York, upstate New York in the United States. But for whatever reason, this part of the house, it doesn't get dry. So like even my tires, like rubber tires, they don't crumble.
Nice.
Like I don't have anything that's deteriorating or breaking on its own. I had a couple. I have a couple figures where like the pin joints get loose, after a while. But I haven't had anything like disintegrate or just break. But I also don't dust, which is a weird thing because most people have to dust.
Yeah.
And just wherever it is in my house, I just got lucky, but I don't have to dust either.
Are you in a basement?
I'm in a basement, and even in the basement though, most people still have to dust.
Yeah, sure. No, you're just lucky.
I'm just lucky for whatever reason. It's the perfect humidity, not too dry, it's not too humid, and it's also
you're also a very fresh and clean.
You can't see is that he has to walk through a hermetically sealed entrance to get into there. That's what it is. He's got everything completely sealed. There's no dust, no mites, no insects. Nothing gets in there.
Now, Sonny is a carpenter who's like really angry listening to you talk about this. He's like got to deal with dust all the time. It's all over the place. Always building stuff. He's always having to clean it up. He's like, I just want to build stuff. I just want to get my Transformers. What's up with all this dust? Like, you got a dust-free environment.
That's what's up, man.
So yeah, I just got lucky.
So I'm going to step up on the soapbox here, and I'm going to show you all this, what I found this weekend.
All right.
So this is the original neck piece for the SS-86 Grimlock. And it's gold painted. It's solid.
Wait, switch back.
So you can't see anything that would be on the inside of it except for where this one little point sticks through there. So the upgrade piece for it is clear. And you see all the detail.
Love it.
That's on the piece underneath of it. Whereas if you didn't have this upgrade kit, you never saw any of it.
Oh.
But yet it was still printed with all of that detail on it.
Funny.
No, they knew.
Fishy.
They knew that you were going to get this upgrade kit so that you could see all these little pistons and all these little scroll work that's on that piece of plastic that's underneath this clear plastic.
The upgrade kit is not official, is it? It's not a
No, it's not official.
It's third party.
That's what I'm saying. But somebody had to know.
Oh, this is conspiracy.
Somebody had to know that piece was hidden underneath of this.
Wait a second, this is a conspiracy.
Either they designed it like that.
Damn plot.
Yeah,
Yes.
we gotta have time if you're going to say stuff like this.
Clear plastic could have become brittle over time. They decided to go with the solid plastic though too.
Dang, that's dope right there, man. That's a genius that did that.
So I propose an alternate explanation.
All right, let's get a voice of reason here. Let's turn off the murder crime.
No. That's a great find, Mr. Magnus. I love that because
it's awesome. I would put that on my Grimlock, but I'm a little skeptical about the theory. What about you, Sonny? Do you think it holds water?
Well, it's possible. Like that's interesting. But what if Hasbro already pre-tooled it for a clear? Because they've already made two, right? They made Shattered Glass Grimlock, and then they made the G2, the yellow one, right?
Yep.
Correct.
What if they have another one coming that's got a clear neck?
Right.
Why redesign the neck that they've already made for that figure when they can pre-tool it with that sculpted detail, so that when they do get to the clear one, they don't have to change it, right? But that's a long shot. That's a long shot.
But now,
I think
now
it's
you're
a
saying that there's
theory.
an even deeper conspiracy
Yeah.
because they're releasing us the one where you can't see the detail, and then they're going to release another one where you can see the detail, so that you have to buy a second one.
That's the truth.
Yep.
Now you've got to the bottom of
Long
things.
shot.
Now you figured out.
I also think it's
not a
this
long
too.
shot, that's
I
the
think a lot of these companies secretly work with Hasbro and pay them a royalty as well. Like, there's got to be some of these companies that are making toys getting the permission to do this stuff so that they can give kickbacks to Hasbro for making a better product.
A lot of people have said that, but I don't think the evidence supports that. In fact, I think the evidence shows us the opposite. For example, just look at how third party throughout the history. I can go into details, but I'll just do broad strokes here. Look at what happened with the Studio Cell Unicron and how they had to change the box, not show the head, do all kinds of fishy stuff to hide that. Look at Fans Toys Outrider when they put out their Trailbreaker and it turned out to be the same time as Hasbro was doing it. Somebody mute your mic. We're getting feedback. Yeah, the Trailbreaker, they had to change the box for the Trailbreaker. We didn't get a normal Fans Toys box. And that was obviously in response to the fact that, Takara right now is putting out their masterpiece Trailbreaker, and so they had to respond.
Devil's advocate on that is, this isn't a third party, right? They're supplementing first party's design. So I like what you're saying, Mr. Magnus, because these DNA kits are coming out before the figure even hits the freaking store. So how is that happening? Like, how are they?
Yeah, exactly.
Either they're getting early.
It still is third party though. Like,
it is third party.
Clear. It's third party. But no, I get your guys' point is, how are they able to have these DNA kits prepared like as the figure is coming out? So they must get these designs early.
Right.
So
and they're integrated so well that it can show the detail under the neck. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but
that
I'm going to push back though. You guys know about Prime versus Prime. There was that whole controversy with this guy. People were upset because people on YouTube were upset because he was doing these YouTube reviews like, with certain figures way before, and these are mainline figures, like not a week before, but months before they're scheduled to hit the shelves. Like sometimes, just after we've seen a reveal, and then this guy has the figure. So some people are up in arms about that. We talked about it a lot on the channel. On the channel here, we were like, we're benefiting from seeing the figures. Why are people getting upset about it? But anyway, so that integration can still be a leak. And and I'm not taking away from the fact that there is something fishy definitely has to be going on for that to be happening, right? So there is some kind of leak of information, Mr. Magnus, to your point. So it is a conspiracy on some level, right? It's not nothing. It's clear that not everything is above board, right? But that's the space that we're in, right? Because if we're talking about third-party collecting, this is what Freakenstein was just pointing out when he's like, hey, they're all knockoffs to me. And once you're dealing with third-party, right, you're already dealing with intellectual property right infringement, which is something that, for instance, Bobby likes to deny because he's very anti-KO. So he doesn't like, for instance, this figure I've got flying off my backdrop right here. This is a KO. So Bobby's not bout it the way some of us are, but we do not give a F because, like, steal all the intellectual property you want as long as we're having a good time. That's my take.
They're both, so legally speaking, both intellectual property theft and copyright infringement are both illegal. It doesn't matter which one you do.
Copyright infringement is a version of is under the umbrella of intellectual
It's
property.
easier to prove copyright infringement because it's hard to prove that they copied your intellectual property because you have to prove it to a certain point, right? Hey, how much did they take?
So,
and, if they change the name to whatever, Outrider, did they steal your property or did they, change it enough? So I don't think they're, Hasbro or whoever is willing to spend the money for the litigation to go after intellectual, but they've definitely proven they'll go after copyright. Right?
Yes.
They'll take you down if
Yeah.
you do that, especially for certain properties like Disney. Like they don't mess around. They'll destroy your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like this guy right here.
Interrupt, gentlemen, but it is that time. I'm out. 4 a.m. comes really early. So,
all right, brother. Good to have you as always.
Nice to meet you, man.
You too, mate. Thanks for coming out. Peace.
Take care, Mr.
Have a good
Magnus.
one. So, like this right here is an oversized KO or Wei Zhang or whatever the case may be, Bumblebee Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, I bought 2 of these characters, which is the same mold, and they were advertised as Rise of the Beast Optimus Primes. And I didn't click in until I pulled this Optimus Prime out for comparison and another Optimus Prime. But it's the same toy, and they're saying this is Bumblebee. And like, I did videos on this, and now it's like, you know, when you do screw up in a video and like this, do you retract it and say, hey, guys, everybody, sorry, this wasn't what it was, but this is what it is?
How do you handle video retractions? Good question.
Yeah.
That's a question for me.
You haven't had to do that.
Yes. Guys, let's remember here. TM Reviews is a, you know, all of us are superstars in our own way. But this guy is a YouTube megastar. He's very humble. He's an extremely humble guy, you know. But let's ask him questions about how.
Well, that's what I was asking him.
What's it like to be such a celebrity? Do you ever go anywhere outside of Transformers conventions and have people like TM Reviews?
Oh, absolutely not. No. TFCon though has
we love you here.
It does happen at TFCon. That it does feel nice. I'll be honest. Like people will recognize my voice, and they'll come up behind me. Hey, are you? You know, just by my voice, and that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is cool, but it doesn't happen anywhere outside of TFCon.
Do you ever think that? So, okay. So, if you want, tell us about your work outside, like what industry you're in outside of this stuff. If you want to tell us a little bit about that.
Sure,
But really, my question, I'm coming at that because you do have a great voice, and I think, you know, when you were mentioning earlier about the YouTube memberships, you know, and that sort of thing, and when people are members or they're in your Patreon, they're there because of you. They're not there for the toy or whatever the topic is of your channel. But like they feel like they have this vicarious friendship. They're like, oh yeah, they feel like that's their friend, and sometimes that translates into real life. Like of course, you know, there's weirdos, but there also is the sense like when somebody comes up to you at a convention is like, hey, I've been watching your videos for a while, and then you feel a connection with that person. Sometimes that can happen, right? But your voice, are you ever going to use that talent? Beyond just your Transformers channel, now that you've discovered it? Are you going to become a radio personality? Are you going to do another podcast on some other topic that you're passionate about? That's the real question.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I actually don't. I don't like my personally. It took me a long time to listen to my own videos because I hate the sound of my own voice. But if you're editing, you have to watch your own videos or listen to your voice. So
ad nauseum.
I do not have a radio voice at all. I don't know what you were thinking when you said that, but
no, you're good, bro. You're good.
No, I think you do. I think you do.
Some people put on your long videos just to go to sleep, like ASMR.
Yeah, I've heard that actually. I've heard that I have a soothing.
It's in your comments.
Yeah,
they don't do that for our videos for some reason. Like we make really long videos and nobody puts them on to go to sleep.
I have heard that, but my day job. So I work for the U.S. Navy. Is my day job. I actually talk for a living, so it kind of makes sense.
Okay.
I do.
What do you do for the Navy? We also have a regular ex-Navy guy on here, former, is he a Marine Navy guy? The TF Johnny. Anybody know?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Not here now.
Yeah.
He's not here at the moment.
He's not here. Yeah. We're gonna bring him on another time because he should be here with you because he's also one of our heavy third-party guys. But
yeah.
anyway,
To be clear, I don't serve in the Navy. Like I'm not active duty or anything, but I work for the Navy. So.
Yeah. Sure. We didn't think you were a Marine. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm not enlisted or anything, but I don't actually. My job is helping other people be effective at their jobs. So I help with like teaming. I help with process improvement. I help with change management. If you ever heard of that. So I facilitate teams. I facilitate people. I do a lot of training, which kind of makes sense. Kind of fits, but. Does
that carry over? Do you feel like some of those skills carry over? Like when you're doing the transformation videos, are you training us? Or not at all? This is compartmentalized, like totally.
Some of it does, yeah. So some of it does, like I use some of the tactics, and then other things has nothing. I had to learn it all, like editing and doing video and learning how to use YouTube and cameras. Instagram is a new thing. I just started Instagram because I don't know, I'm old and I don't do the gram, but people were like, no, you got to get on there. That's where the new generation lives. They don't even go on Facebook. I have a 20-year-old, I think he's like 23 or 24, something like that. He doesn't really go on Facebook. So he doesn't see, like I post everything on Facebook. Like when I see new figures, that's where I put it. So if you're looking for like new stuff, that's where I go. And then I started this Instagram account and I started posting stuff there. And he started reacting to it. I was like, dude, I've been posting for years on Facebook. But the skills to do that, it's only learned there. Like, I don't know how to use Instagram because of work.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a publicist or a social media agent or something. Like, you probably don't do that in your day job. Mm-hmm. So that was all I had to learn, that kind of stuff. So there's some crossover, but it's not.
So what was the most surprising thing to you? What is what have you learned in your journey of being a YouTuber that you would not have expected?
I think the community. So the only reason I'm still doing this, I think I would have quit a long time ago. But the only reason I'm still doing this and why I still enjoy it is stuff like this, right? Tonight. It's the community, it's meeting people, it's the appreciation. That's the part that I enjoy the most.
And some of my favorite videos that I've seen you on, like I love watching your channel, but I also like, well, actually on your channel you bring other guys on, so you've had these videos with you and Pake and other reviewers, and you're doing like a game or some kind of thing like that, and I think that's really cool. We've done that on here. And I was telling, I'm like, when the other guy suggested it here, I'm like, oh yeah, that TM Reviews did a thing like that. So yeah, that community thing is really dope, and that is something we're trying to do on this channel, like emphasize that, as opposed to just the reviews and just the toys and the hands and the toys and the voice.
Yeah, the toys are great, but it's really only one aspect. So if you go to TFCon or any con, it doesn't matter, whatever con, just pick one. The retailers that go there, it's actually a losing business for them, right? They lose money. Yeah, they lose money going to the con. Like, I don't know about the small. I mean, you guys had a small booth at TFCon.
Yeah,
maybe.
No, but you're not talking about like TF Source and all these guys. You're saying they lose money by going. Okay,
they lose money going. The reason they lose money. So I'm not
advertising. They're just advertising for the year, right? Sorry, go ahead.
That's part of it. Mm-hmm. TF Source is pretty big, so maybe they're okay. But Toy Dojo, just for example, Toy Dojo has to.
Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Eddie. So a fun story about TFCon at Toronto.
Yeah.
I went over to Eddie's booth, and he had that prototype of Ocular Max Groove, the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And the arm was broken off.
You're talking about? Do you mean this past year, or you mean previous?
Yeah, just now, like last month.
Okay, all right, So they had the whole grayscale set, and we reviewed it.
Yep. They had all the prototypes of the MMC not
Predactobots.
combaticons. What are they called?
Predactobots.
Predacons, yeah.
And the groove was broken. The arm was broken. So he couldn't put it on display because it was broken. And he was like, hey, can you go plug in this glue gun and then bring it back? Because he can't leave the booth.
Right.
People steal from TFCon. I don't know if you guys know that.
No, well, we had a booth and we were wondering about that, and
people
we were
steal,
like, somebody steal from us, it's going to be a bad fucking move.
30%.
Yeah, God.
I mean, if you have a smaller booth like you guys had,
yeah,
it's easier to keep an eye on it because you don't have a lot of coverage.
We got a lot of guys and not as much stuff, but Eddie, and Eddie's in that middle ground, right? Yeah. So unlike, for instance, Chosen Prime, they got a lot of staff.
Yes.
They got a lot of stuff with a lot of staff. So Eddie and some of these other vendors, they got small staff and tons of stuff, and so they're the ones who could be a victim real easy.
Right. The real estate, right? That they have so much real estate and only so many eyes. So he told me they lose 1 to 3 pieces at every convention.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you go? Why do you go to the convention if you're? And he also told me.
No, but that's just a couple. That's a couple $100.
That's a couple $100, yeah. But then on top of that,
like they're spending thousands of dollars. Right. They're spending maybe at least, they're over $10,000 to do a trip like this.
Yes.
Right?
So they have to ship everything there. So the Chosen Prime, theirs is even crazier.
Yeah. That's a big operation.
Yeah. So they used to drive it. They would put it in a trailer, all those. So they bring what looks like giant DTOFs. They're not DTOFs. They're like big glass cases, basically.
Display cases. Display cabinets.
And they used to put them in a trailer and drive them, which saves a little bit of money.
And they were coming all the way from Arizona. We
Right.
interviewed Brandon on the channel at TFCon. So go on.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they can't do that, obviously, for Toronto, right? It's too far. Arizona's just too far.
Right.
So they ship it.
They can do that for Chicago.
Right.
That's where they were doing it. Yeah.
So think about that. Think about shipping, 15 glass cases across the country to Toronto. Like, how much is that going to cost? Then you got to ship all the merchandise, not only that you're going to put in the case, but the stuff you're going to sell.
Yep.
Right. Only to turn around and sell it with no shipping. Right. I'm selling it to you, and I already paid to ship it. I'm not charging you shipping.
Right.
So it's a losing proposition for them because they're definitely going to lose money on TFCon.
So why do they do it? You think it's just
all about
to build their brand,
building their brand and community, right? Yeah. That's what the con is about.
And Brandon emphasized that. I asked him, like, okay, because you're in this as a business, like, does that detract from the love of the toys and the figures? And he's like, absolutely not. It's the community that keeps me going.
Right.
Like, he is in it. Like, he still loves it. His heart is in it. He cares about people getting their figures and stuff. And that's neat to see because, like, we all say, like, isn't that cool? But we all know once you start making money at something, like, that does change how you look at it. For all of us, they can't be different. But when you can find that balance and still maintain it and feel like you're contributing to a community, that's great. And when you were saying like your channel doesn't really make you a lot of money, but it's about the community, right? Yeah. Even if and you've said this on your channel, I watch your channel a lot of times. You said I started this. My intention is to make it free. I always want it to be free for people. So like I really hope your channel keeps growing, and I hope you do make money at it, because you're somebody who obviously is never going to change. Like, it's clear that your commitment is to the community first.
Yeah, and that's why I hesitated on the members thing. A lot of the stuff I did was because somebody was like, you should do this, you should try this.
Yeah.
That's what I was said too. Like I said that earlier. People are like, why don't you do this? Because you'd be good for that and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to say this. When I first started, I kind of did things backwards. I made merchandise early before I was even collecting any subscribers, really. And one of the first things I did was I reached out to 3 specific YouTubers and said, look, I appreciate what you've done over the years, and I would like to send you one of my t-shirt designs. You are the only one that got back to me, not just right away, but said yes. All the other people were like, nah, I don't need it. And I felt like so disappointed and discouraged when they did that, because here are the people that I've been watching for years, and the only person that actually said yes was you. And like, I really respected that. Like, I really did. Like, because I'm all about this. I say this all the time. No matter which era of Transformers you like, no matter where you come from, we all have a love for Transformers. We all have that community, you know?
Right. You saw I wore it on air, right?
Oh, no, I have not yet. I've been so busy because, I don't know where I'm going, but I want to try new things. I just tried my first stop animation, and it wasn't very good, but I just wanted to try it because I'm trying to learn all these things.
I'm looking forward to your Skylinks Predacon battle stop animation.
That would be cool.
I want to see you do that. I know it's gonna take you a little while, but I know it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just learning everything. Believe it or not, 4 months ago when I started this, I knew nothing about editing. I knew nothing about green screen. I knew nothing about YouTube except for how to watch it. Right. Everything I've learned has been in this 4 months process, and that's why I'm kind of like crazy all over the place with everything, because I want to try new things and try to build on what's not there, and like I do the Transformer trivia, which I don't think a lot of people get. And here, I'm going to explain it right now. What I'm asking is this. I show a toy, and it's alt mode and then robot mode, and I fade them in or fade them out, whatever the case may be. But what I'm asking the audience is, what is the toy's name and what company made it? Because it could be millions of different companies and millions of different toys, because you don't know. And most people just guess what it is. Like, when I had a Grimlock, they were like, oh, that's just Grimlock. I'm like, okay, but who made it? But really, it wasn't made by Hasbro, right? It was made by another company. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm trying to get that out there so that people can be like, okay, well, this is my knowledge of Transformers, and I'm glad someone's out there putting this kind of content out there so that I can guess and give the correct answer and, know my stuff, be proud that I knew that was that character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of community, I'm on a podcast kind of like this every Thursday night. I didn't start it, so it's called Figure Action. T-Man 978 and a few other people that some of them have channels, some of them don't. But I wore your T-shirt on that podcast, and I also told them all about it because you sometimes come to that podcast too. Yeah, I've seen you in there. But again, that's another reason why I've continued. I would have quit, honestly. Like I got bored I would have just got bored with the toys and be done. But because of this part of it, I keep interested. And I'm actually going to like 3 cons this year, which is crazy. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. But the main reason is for people, like to meet people, to hang out. I now have friends in the community, like really close friends that I'm going to be hanging out with at BotCon and other places. Peak, I met him because I interviewed him, but then we became good friends. So like, that's something that's doesn't have value. You can't put value on it compared to the toys or to anything else. So I agree.
It has the ultimate value, right? That's the thing that really has value.
Yeah. The alternate value?
Like the real value, right? Not monetary value, but
the ultimate value. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I thought you said the alternate value.
Right. Well, I mean that can work too, right? Alternators more than meets the eye. Right. That's the real value. Yeah. Something lies beneath what we're doing here. It's not all about buying super expensive toys.
There you go.
Right. It's actually about building community and friendships.
Catch up on all the comments, because there's been quite a handful of comments. RJ Eagle earlier said, "Dang, I'm getting Moon Studio then. Thanks. I only received 2 of the trains so far. Yikes! I guess then it's better for just train gauge. I think it's a G gauge. Let's see. It's
G gauge.
And go back. Mariano says, I've had my MP Rodimus Prime just break at the right shoulder. I had him posed holding the Matrix and picked him up. His right arm fell off.
To be fair, though, that figure, the shoulder is very breakable. But they have replacement parts on eBay, so you can just go buy them.
And Mariano on YouTube also says, the hideous yellow Toxitron Grimlock has a clear neck to see the details inside.
I was wondering about that.
And also says, I don't like the stealing aspect of Prime versus Prime videos. That's why I don't watch.
Yeah,
And
I didn't want to elaborate on that, but it's not the fact that he gets it early. It's the fact that they're stolen. But it's accepted now. Now it's accepted that, I mean, there's so many channels now that are just getting stolen product and reviewing it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's at least 3, Sheffratron, Prime versus Prime, Tef or Tech, whatever his name is.
What is your feelings about that? Do you think that it's
I'm
a problem?
100% against it. Yeah, I mean, I don't support it at all.
Why?
Yeah, because hold on.
This is your Murder Prime moment. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
And then Spin give him the full screen and Murder Prime. So
Can this count?
I'm gonna egg you on. Okay.
Okay. So, can this count for my Murder Prime?
Yeah. Totally.
All right. Cool. Because I feel.
Wait. Hold on. Give me Spin. I'm asking the question first to like work him up. I'm playing the other side. Okay. Look. And let me respond to Mariano. Chacon as well. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. Mariano saying stealing someone's IP to make money off it is not cool. Okay, so for the purpose of discussion, I'm going to take the other side of the argument. No disrespect to Mariano. We love you. Thank you for being part of this community. I'm taking the opposite side here. I'm saying, Mariano, it is absolutely cool because, look, Exhibit A, this is cool, okay? And not only is this cool, okay, this is cool, right? This is the official, all right? Hasbro made this for MP11, okay? It's cool in this mode. You turn it into robot mode, it's a floppy mess. It's a piece of trash. TM Reviews will back me up, as will everybody who has reviewed this in bot mode. Look, he's laughing and smiling. This joint, I don't think TM Reviews has reviewed. But what we have here is an upscaled, fixed version. Look, I turned it upside down. TM Reviews. Can you turn this guy upside down? Yeah. If he's the official, no, you can't, because the chest is gonna fall out, flop. So,
you got to send me the link for that character because I hate my Style screens. I got 3 different versions. I hate them. I need that one.
Okay, so now, different levels of IP and copyright infringement. All right. So this is official. All right. Now this is the deformation space that we've been talking about. Now this is a great figure. This is a third-party figure. This is not an infringement of the engineering of this official product. It's just an infringement of the character model. And as Sonny was pointing out earlier, that's much harder to prove in court that I ripped off your character idea, even though we all know very well this is, as Mariano was saying, this is an infringement of intellectual property. So third-party companies, third-party transformers cannot exist if you say IP infringement is not cool. Right. Now, knockoffs is a different level, right? So this one here is not just IP infringement of the character model, it's also infringement of the engineering design. So somebody like Bobby says there's a line to be drawn. It's fine to copy the character because that's how creativity works. They did their engineering on their own, so they made their own thing, so it's not theft. I say that's just, he just likes third-party stuff and he doesn't like KO, so he's being inconsistent. They're both infringements, You're morally inconsistent if you say KOs are not okay, but third-party is okay. So if you are not okay with a little bit of illegal activity, then you are not okay with anything other than official collecting, which is not anybody on the screen. So TM Reviews, tell me why I'm wrong.
So my comment wasn't to IP infringement.
Okay.
Mine was to this comment about them stealing figures.
Oh, that's right. So I just said a little bit of illegal activity, our whole hobby wouldn't exist, or at least it would be much more limited if it was only official.
That sounds like a little more than a little bit of illegal activity.
I'm throwing to the Cheftron thing, these other reviewers. So I said, so these guys stealing figures or getting stolen figures, I'm saying in the same, they're sort of committing a violation in the same way as third party is committing violations, but I'm saying that builds our community. So,
all right, let's hear what he's got to say about it. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, that's the point where his giving the screen, it's murder prime.
So when you're profiting off of stealing, that's where it becomes wrong, right? If you were just doing it to help the community, or you wanted to further the community or make it a better community, do you see Prime versus Prime at TFCon? Do you see him doing podcasts or things like shows like this? Do you see him inviting other reviewers on to talk about stuff? No.
Never.
He's on his own, and he steals those figures so he can profit personally on his channel.
We don't know if he's stealing them.
I said that. I said that he stole them, but he doesn't. What really happens is a factory worker takes it off the factory line and then sells it to the highest bidder. So if Prime versus Prime didn't buy it, somebody else is going to buy it. It really doesn't matter because someone's going to buy it.
Correct.
But where it's wrong for me is he's taken that and turned it into $1, right? He took that theft and said, hey, I can make a profit by putting this on YouTube because nobody else has it, and I can make a video, and that can turn into tens of thousands, 100,000 of views, which turns into money, which goes back into his pocket so he can buy more. And then he sells the figures, which is even more wrong, right? Now he took the profit of taking the thing and then turns it around again and makes more profit selling.
Sounds like he's a smart guy to me.
I mean, he is smart. I mean,
it's a hustle. The guy has a hustle, and everybody in the community is knocking the guy's hustle. It sounds to me like jealousy. And furthermore, let's go to Charlie. Looks like Charlie has a comment.
I'm getting off here.
Oh, Charlie. Well, before you've been quiet for the whole time. Do you got anything you want to show us? Do you got anything you want to say about what we've been talking about? You got any questions for TM Reviews?
Well, I actually had a question for Sony because I messaged him a while back asking about how do you get the stupid battery in the DX9 Omega Supreme, and I was wondering if you ever made that video.
It's a pain in the butt. So
don't break it.
Yeah, taking that arm apart is, I'll say it's not worth it. How about that? Right? It's not worth the effect that you get once the light is turned on. Because here's what you have to do, and it's right behind me. So you basically take the arm and you have to pull the like if you're looking at the one that's just the gun arm,
right.
You have to pull that off, but you have to pull it off not so much that it rips the wire. And that's where it's a problem because you can easily just rip it off and rip off the wire. Fans Toys one here, I actually have it right here. So the Fans Toys, it's a removable component, right? And then the batteries are back here. And
nice.
Same for the other one, the gun arm. It's a removable component, but on the DX9, it's not removable. It's attached by a wire. So if you pull it too hard, it's gonna rip. So you're better off just not doing it, honestly. That's my answer, but I never made I don't think I made a video on it just because it was too hard. So sometimes it's too hard to make a video.
Yeah.
Because behind the camera, it's hard to actually show what you want to show. In this case, like if I was trying to show you how to get that battery compartment open, I can't get the leverage to do it and not break it. So it's not worth making the video, right? Because I don't want to break it. But you do have to take it off without ripping the cord. So I'll look at it again and see how hard it was, to be honest. But it might not be worth it.
Right, because I was scared to break mine.
Yeah.
So Charlie, it's not only you that is going to need to wrap up for the evening. All of us are going to need to sign off, sadly. But let's do a once around if there's any final questions for TM Reviews or just your final thoughts for the evening. We'll go around, everybody get your chance. But, we are going to need to wrap up. I'm going to do my final question right now. I should save it for the... somebody's sending me a message. Okay, maybe I'm going to...
Tauntaun. That was the name of the other guy. Tauntaun.
Yeah. Sorry. Over to you guys. Just giving everybody the signal. Think about your final comments because we are going to wrap up soon. Throw them back to TM Reviews, and I know Freakenstein, you wanted to say something.
Wait, you're not going to do Kill Prime or whatever it's called?
The Murder Prime. Oh, well, I think maybe Spin is telling me to save it to the end, giving me a little signal here. Yeah, so back to you guys.
Well, I would say actually we'll catch up on some of the comments before before we wrap up. Let's see, going back. So there we go. A lot of people are saying hello to each other. There we go. And Mariano says that TF conventions are different from the Star Wars and Star Trek conventions. The first bad con experience I've had were at TF cons.
Oh, too bad.
Tell us more. Tell us why.
Yeah, why?
Yeah,
that's kind of an ominous thing to just throw in there in the comments, and then to a bunch of guys who go to TF conventions and not other ones. Yeah,
and
anyway.
Decepticon said the arm was already broken when I got there. I believe they're talking about the defensor from earlier.
Which defensor was that? Just let's put everything in context if we're reviewing this. Do we know what defensor they were talking about?
It was the one at the TFCon just recently, and they were mentioning about leaving the table and getting a glue gun.
That was the Predacons, not defensor.
Defensor is the Predacons.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. You were saying defensor, and I was thinking Devastator. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't finish that story, by the way. So he said, "Hey, can you take this glue gun, heat it up, bring it back, and then I'll glue the arm on."
We're talking about Eddie. We're talking about Eddie from Toy Dojo. Right?
Eddie, yeah, Eddie.
Okay, all right.
So I go ahead, heat it up, I bring it back, and then he puts glue on it, tries to hold it, and it falls off again. And he's like, "Can you take this prototype and take the gun and go somewhere, fix it, and bring it back?" I was like, "Well, you trust me with this?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll do it."
Yeah.
So me and another friend,
I could go sell it to Prime versus Prime right now.
So we took it and we put a ton of glue, like as much as I could, and then we held it together and it was fixed. So then we brought it back, and he put it on display. So it worked.
Cool.
Cool.
Wow. Jay Stabler on YouTube, welcome Jay, says TM Reviews has quickly grown a lot, and that is because he stays very relevant. He has content daily and he's ahead of everyone else. I personally use his videos more than anyone.
Thanks, Jay. He's a good friend.
Cool. Yeah. Techno on YouTube.
I think I know Jay too on maybe in the Transformers.
Yeah,
so shout out to Jay.
He buys doubles and triples of.
I do know him, and I talk about him a lot on the stream, even though I haven't said his name. I'm like, oftentimes when we're on the stream, I'm like, you guys know there are dudes who have like three copies of this Dinobot. Right?
Yep.
Like, I'm not crazy, Jay is. That's basically what I'm saying.
So Techno is saying to Freakenstein, keep doing the stop motion stuff. Yep. And let's see, where else? A few others that we're missing out on. Stephen Bach jumping off TM comments about social aspect. I know I make a point to pull out two figures. The other guys might not know to share two on screen. Then there are more recently than getting two for me to shoot two of the said figures.
Let's try that again. I'll try reading it. Jumping off TM comments about social aspects. He says, I know I make a point to pull out figures. D, he's saying like D, other guys might not know to share on stream. Oh, he's responding to me when I said, oh, he's showing up he's pulling up a figure. I thought maybe it was Predaking. I was going to give him full screen. It wasn't Predaking. I said, that's not Predaking. Why is he showing it? He's explaining. I pull out figures that other people don't know to share on stream. Excellent, which is awesome. That's what we do here. We appreciate that, Stephen. Then more. Oh, I didn't. What was the last part?
Oh,
I
sorry.
didn't finish reading the comment. Then more recently, that been getting me to shoot pics of said figures. They've been getting me to shoot. Okay, so people are asking him to take pictures. So he's responding to TM reviews saying, okay, people are encouraging him to do more stuff. And same with Freakenstein. Freakenstein, we're encouraging you to do more stuff. All right, next comment. Mariano Chacon again. If you want the KOs, your choice. But it hurts, takes away from the creator's artist. I'm talking about chaos. Okay, definitely, Mariano. You do have a point. It's a complex debate, and there are good people on all sides of it. I buy third party, not KOs. So, Mariano, you're not alone. As I was saying, Bobby, who we all respect, we watch his reviews. I have a different opinion, but that's where he is on that debate. Brian Benner, how you holding up, Spin? Well, why don't you answer that?
I'm holding up well. I mean, it's been a great stream.
You've been quiet though.
Back to Jay.
Mm-hmm. If it weren't for third party, I'd have quit collecting MP a long time ago.
Yeah.
Can't wait around for Takara because they'll never touch most of these characters that are now done and on our shelves.
Yeah.
So to that point, all of us are advocating some copyright infringement. So we are advocating some illegal activity. It's just we all have different levels of comfort of what kind of criminal activity is it okay for people to profit off of.
And not only that, but I'm telling you, I know this. Some of these people have worked for this company that we're talking about and have left to build their own companies because they can do better.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, you're not letting me do better. Why aren't you letting me do better? And they join the other companies so that they can do better, right? It's a no-brainer. If someone's stopping your creative influence because either money or budget, but someone else is willing to pay, and they know they can do better, they're going to go. They're going to go hands down.
Yeah.
Steven says, on Prime vs. Prime, I will say he responds to comments on new vids and discusses engineering in comments quite well, at least in my interactions with him. He also doesn't go on psycho rants on camera like Tauntaun.
Yeah, all I can say about Prime vs. Prime is I've watched a number of his videos, and I do like his energy. I like his vibes. I've never, he's not a reviewer where I'm like, oh, these are the reviews I'm watching all the time.
He's a good reviewer.
He's a good reviewer, right?
I'm not saying he's a great reviewer. He does a great job.
Before I lose my mic here, can I just say just a few things and ask my last question just so that I can hear before I go? First of all, I'm plugging again, but here it is. If you guys want a chance to win, subscribe to Children of Primus and my channel. You guys will have 2 chances if you do that to win this guy.
Nice.
And also this little guy right here. And he comes with a little Ravage.
So
cute. Also this character right here.
You made these?
Actually, my awesome mother made these by looking off of pictures, and she's never been interested in my Transformer stuff, really. Until I started doing YouTube.
Everywhere. My mom might be watching right now. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to
moms are awesome. But y'all get a chance if you subscribe to either my channel or this channel or both channels. If you want 2 chances to win, you'll have a chance to win these guys. But also, I have something to ask TM reviews before I go. So this is a little idea that I had, and I want to get your opinion on this. So I've been saying on my channel and this channel that I think Hasbro should do a text-to-speech app with all the characters from all the Transformers lines, whether it be G1 all the way up to now, where we can type in the words that we want for each character and use them as MP3s in our videos. And I believe if they did make this app, that they would sell a lot more toys that they aren't selling because you might want to reenact a certain episode or create your own episode, but you need those characters that you don't have. Do you agree that this would be a great idea for Hasbro to come out with so that you can now have something to use instead of trying to use these other platforms that don't quite have it correct because they're not using the real voice actors?
You're saying the app would generate the voice?
Yes, like you would type in what you want, and then as soon as you type it in, you can now hear it, tweak it to where you want it, and then download it as an MP3 to put into your videos.
I mean, they're never going to do that because, so think about the Grimlock. They just put out that RoboSend Grimlock.
Are you going to get it?
I want to, but it's so much. It's so much.
All for free.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because I thought about it earlier. If at some point we could get mention the Grimlock, but how much is the Grimlock for you? On the American side,
1,500.
For us, it's about 2,200 after you do the conversion.
Yeah, and then
plus shipping.
You have tax on it on top.
I believe that was actually
border
after
tax.
Yeah.
Border tax, yes.
And the possibility of the border tax as well.
Okay, it's 1,600 with tax.
Yeah,
which is a lot. I mean, that would be the most expensive Transformer I've ever bought or purchased.
Also, if you use FedEx or something like that, they charge you too, right?
Yeah.
If they're using FedEx, they charge you also, and it's like, what the hell? I already paid for shipping.
If you don't have Hasbro Pulse membership, then they charge you for shipping too. So on top of that, I haven't bought it yet. I'm still on the fence, but it is like what you imagined as a child, right? Is this thing get transformed? It's just amazing. But think about what they did.
Maybe you have to cough up the money for that reason, right?
Yeah, but Greg Berger, did the voice clips for that, and I'm sure they paid him handsomely for that, right? Think about what the app would have to cost for it to be. It would have to be like per use or something.
Yeah.
Right? Well, even if we had to pay $1.99 a month per voice or whatever, we're only using it for that time. Right? Like you get as many downloads as possible, and then you go from there. If you need more, you pay for more, right?
Right.
I think the app would work because I always am looking for the voice because I don't like using my real voice and tweaking and altering it. That's a lot of time that I just don't have, right?
Well,
and there's platforms out there that do it already, but they're just not good enough.
With the advent of AI, I think someone could do this for free.
This is basically what you're suggesting is an AI app.
Yes.
And there's all kinds of reasons.
Later on, Charlie.
What's that?
Charlie left.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Charlie left.
Oh yeah. What you're proposing is like an AI app, and so there are all kinds of reasons for why that is a logistical, economic, major challenge. To TM Review's point. So therefore, doesn't mean you don't have a great idea that can't be implemented. It just means it can't be done legally through official channels, which is why third party exists. That is the point of creative copyright infringement. And that's exactly what Sonny told you very subtly. He didn't say explicitly what I'm breaking down for you. He said, look, that's a great idea for an app. Go make it yourself. And so the next question for Sonny is, awesome, Sonny, how much money are you willing to invest? Because on Children of Primus, once we get to 50,000 subscribers on Patreon, all guaranteed to you is we're going to make this app where you can have the AI voices of Grimlock, me, Grimlock, hungry, and all your favorite voices, and it will be the identical voices from the cartoon. And you know how we can guarantee that? Because we will simply steal the voices from the cartoon.
It's going to be real difficult for Casey Kasem or Jack Angel or Scatman Crothers. That's going to be pretty difficult to get them in a recording booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do that, though. You just rip it right off the cartoon.
Yeah.
Get samples.
Yeah, samples.
Exactly.
Well, as Mariano says, that would get into the voice actors' rights.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons for the current strikes.
And as much as I'm joking about, to anybody who doesn't know, I'm joking about this, obviously, because we care about those voice actor rights. We've talked about it, and it's an issue with, for instance, Peter Cullen. Now, he is losing his voice. Like, he doesn't have that strong voice. He won't going forward as you become an old man. You know, you see it with Picard as well. You know, sadly, it's just eventually it might even happen with the god Swami Sajnani. You never know. But yeah, these things happen, so
I can use it.
Hey,
yeah, but exactly. But it would be fun to have. Okay, back to you, Freakenstein.
Well, it's really quick.
My
wife is a huge Simpsons fan, the show, like TV show, and I went online to get the voice of. I was like trying to get a main character, but like. They were all charging crazy amounts. So for 30 seconds of voice recording, like customized, like, hey, Sony, happy birthday, whatever, and they have them talk and personalize it.
Yeah.
That was like $400 to have Lisa Simpson's voice do that for you, for your birthday. So think about how would they pay these voice actors if they're making $400 for a 30-second clip of their voice for you personally. Like this app, it wouldn't work. Like you'd have to do it.
It could work through royalties as freaking science.
Royalties.
Like they could work out a system.
You could do it that
would
way.
be complex.
Just royalties for every time they click on the voice. Then they purchase it for the month for $1.99. They get a portion of that, right?
Yeah.
But I think of it more of this way. If they had this, they would sell the toys that they're not really everybody's buying, because then if I want to recreate an episode, I would need to get that character that I don't have, that I didn't plan on buying in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Like it would force people to kind of buy more of their lines to get that.
All right, Frankenstein, we got to move on from this app idea, but here's where we are with it. And we can talk about it again as the idea develops. But here's where we're sticking a pin in it. Either you're going to do it yourself, which is I like the idea. Get some investors together, get some programmers together, build it. If you build it, they will come. That's one option. The other option is if you still want to just keep talking about it and trying to convince people that Hasbro should do this, then what you got to do is next time you come online and you're talking about this, you need to have your online petition that's going to Hasbro and saying, Hasbro, we need this app. All right? So
they don't listen to anybody.
Well, that's why I said option A is probably the better one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up within 10 minutes because it's already 10:50. So we'll make our hard wrap up at 11 p.m. our time. Brian asked, "Do you guys think I should move into Masterpiece or even third-party figures? Because I usually collect Studio Series, warforcybertron, and mainline figures."
Oh, that's an interesting question. So very short answer. Let's get from the Masterpiece collectors who also collect mainline. What are the pros and like somebody who collects mainline when they're switching to Masterpiece? What do they need to look out for other than the cost? We know there's a cost jump, but like there are some drawbacks to Masterpiece figures as opposed to mainline. You know, what's your 30-second take on that question? TMREVIEWS and Freakenstein.
So the first thing I would look at is assuming you have the cash. Right, that's the
Let's assume that
you can afford it. Space is the first thing. Is where you can display. So I did an interview with I forgot the name of the channel right now, but they were talking about displays. And my rule is if I can't display it, if it's going to end up in a box in a shelf in your closet, then why are you buying it? Don't buy it. Don't buy it to just collect a box somewhere. So if you can't display it, you don't have the space to put it somewhere, to look at it, enjoy it, or take it out and transform it, then why are you buying it? So space would be my first question: is do you have the space for it? The second thing I would say is, are you a completionist? If you're a completionist and you're coming from Studio Series or mainline, it's much easier to complete mainline than it is to complete third party, because third party, there's some pieces you just can't get them. You just have to accept you're not going to be able to get like this blue Fans Toys Guardian.
Yes.
Basically,
I saw that when I came on, you were on the screen before me, and I saw you got that blue joint, and I'm like, oh man, I need that.
Yeah, but I waited a long time, but that's the thing. Like, if you're not a completionist, it's fine. Like, because you could just get a piece here and there, and I think you'll be okay. But if you are the kind of person that's a completionist, then I wouldn't enter into Masterpiece, because mainline you can buy everything. You can get every single piece pretty easily. Even if you missed it, you can go back and buy it. But third party, you can't really go back and buy everything. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Cool.
Freaking son, you want to add something? Here, what I'll say, just adding on to that is like, if you're buying mainline stuff, you don't necessarily have to have a good display place, because one, like, you can display your mainline stuff as Anthony does, but mainline stuff can be just yours to play with. Like, you can keep it in a bin and you take it out and you play with it, you put it on the kitchen table, you do a little diorama, you throw it in the box, right? You don't do that with Masterpiece figures, hence everything that TM Reviews just said. Even you don't like smack the guy in the tail, you may start complaining. All right. Freakenstein, you got anything to this question?
I guess it all depends where you're at in your life and what you want to do. Like, I have a whole room dedicated just for my Transformers. And actually where I'm at right now is a good friend of mine. I call her my sister mother. She's really awesome. Shout out to you, Tara. She lets me use her spare bedroom as my studio, because I just don't have the room in my place to do it. And as toys grow, I want to steal line from Pokemon. I feel like I got to collect them all. But like TM Reviews just said, there's some things that you can't get. And even at the con, there's these Dinobots, something Realm or whatever. I don't know which line it is, but I've always wanted them. But for the $500 price that they want for these toys, it's like, nope, I'd rather save up $2,000 and buy Grimlock, walking Grimlock, than to buy this set. I think it has like 7 of them.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, I've only seen it a few times.
Exo Realm.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's another company that also made ones that were similar to that I just can't find them anywhere, and I've given up. So you have to be prepared if you're going to go into third-party MP scale. You're going to have to know this one fact: you are not going to find them all. You're not going to own them all. So
no, don't say you're not going to. Just say it's difficult. Just say it's difficult. Like, if this is what you want to do. Because look, what's the other side? Like, we're doing it, right? The other side is, if you want the absolute best Transformers. Like, you don't just like Transformers. Like, you want the best Transformers. You don't just want Grimlock. You want the biggest, best, shiniest, most golden, most articulated, most detail, most real world. Like, if there was such a thing as a robot dinosaur walking down the street, it would look and sound like this. If that's what you must have at any cost, then Masterpiece is for you, and mainline just doesn't cut it.
Yeah. So for me,
some of us are at.
Because of you guys, the people that I follow, and most of you are in the room right now, like, and have been in the room that I do follow. And here's the thing: when I got back into collecting again for my second time, it was the masterpieces that you were showing me from third companies, not from Hasbro, that made me say, you know what? They're finally doing it right, and I got to get these. I just started collecting Studio Series, and I'll tell you right now, I'm going to get them all because you can. That's just because you can, all right? But only because I'm that type of person that if they're available and I can buy them cheap, like I got a great comic book store that sells these things for dirt cheap. Like, it's ridiculous. I've gotten characters that were in stores 10 years ago that were $30 and I'm paying $5 for. So, like, yes, I'm trying to collect them all. Will I get all the boxes? No, but I'm also one of them collectors, and I know I already got in trouble for this. Every box I got, I throw away because I'd rather be buried with my Transformers than sell them to someone that never appreciated them as much as I did.
Okay, now going with that, now TM Reviews, I'm gonna ask if it'd be cool for you to come back another week, because we usually have a set of questions that we ask everyone, and I know we're running out of time. But going back to a comment you said earlier, and one of the questions we always ask everyone, are you boxed or unboxed for your characters?
Oh, he's boxed. He told us already.
Yeah. What? So I don't believe in boxed unless it's you are displaying the boxes, right? And it's really hard to display boxes. Actually, you probably can't see it. It's just out of reach here. But I have boxes. There's nothing in them. They're empty. But it's very hard to display boxes in a reasonable way.
In a nice way, like in a good way, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't.
There are certain pieces that lend themselves to it.
Right. Unless there's like a reason. So somebody showed me recently they're buying the collaboration pieces, like the Transformers crossover with like Jurassic Park or with Back to the Future.
Yeah, those boxes are meant like those things are like in display. They're sort of set up like in a diorama, right?
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, they're like meant to display.
Yeah.
That makes
sense. The original MP10 is like that. The Hasbro MP10 that was at Toys R Us. Like I had that at the convention. Like that is already like in a it's almost the box, the plastic case is almost a display case in and of itself. But that's not the average box. But you also keep your boxes, you mentioned earlier. That's something we talked about on the channel before, of like those boxes piling up. What Freakenstein is referencing is I gave him a talking to last week for throwing away his boxes, because I said, bro, don't you know people will buy that stuff? Like, you actually could sell that.
I tried. I'm throwing away Fans Toys boxes.
No, don't do that.
I know. I understand.
It's money, Sonny.
It's
murder, crime, and gauge.
Show me the money, Sonny.
I tried to sell them.
Okay.
I tried. What do you sell them for? How do you sell them?
Look, we'll talk offline. I'm going to teach you.
Because think about it. You have to pay to ship.
Clearly, money making is not at the your forte.
No, I don't want to make any money. I want it gone, and I want somebody to pay for the shipping to get it to them. That's literally all I want to do.
Figure it out for you, bro. We'll find a way to profit.
I couldn't. I tried. So I have the Stunticons. I have 2 sets of Fans Toys Stunticons.
Yeah.
I only need 1 box because I don't need 2. I just need 1 because I want to have 1.
Yeah.
And I like the artwork on it, but I don't need 2. So I put it online. I said, you pay for shipping, it's yours. That's it. You pay for the shipping, it's yours. I couldn't get anybody to buy it.
Hey, so your fellow Navy homie just joined us, who I referenced earlier. TF Johnny in the building, also a hardcore third-party collector. TF Johnny, I was cracking jokes about your Marine skills earlier today, so I assume you're online to challenge me to some kind of physical test. But let's do that offline, because I don't know if you watch TM Reviews, but here's your chance to ask him a question if you do.
This is the second time you said Marines, but Navy and Marines are not the same thing.
I don't know anything. Look, everything I know about the military comes from G.I. Joe, and clearly I'm more Transformers guy than G.I. Joe. I have some G.I. Joe shit, but like, Marines, I think of Shipwreck, I think of like, whatever, the characters from Transformers. That's the
Shipwreck is Navy.
Navy. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm on a Transformers channel. Over to you, TF Johnny.
No, man, Shipwreck is Navy, man. But the Marines.
That's what they said.
Yeah, the Navy is the department, and Marines, they're up under us. We take them to go fight. We provide the transportation, and then we watch.
What about the Green Berets? Who are the Green Berets?
Yeah,
no, the SEALs.
It's kind of cool. It's cool to see to meet TM Reviews.
What's up, T?
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. I had first heard about TM Reviews through Instagram. I didn't know that he has such a popular YouTube channel. He followed me on Instagram. I'm like, okay, I followed him back. And I'm liking and reposting stuff and all this. And then I went to his YouTube channel. I'm like, this guy's good. Like he's good at that. Like he might be my go-to guy in terms of like looking at reviews. I like his style,
Nice.
And then
he does have a beautiful radio voice.
And then all of a sudden he unfollowed me on Instagram. I'm like, wow. I'm like, and I didn't know, right? But so there's a guy also on Instagram named TFMasterpiece.
Yeah.
And we chat back and forth, and he told me to check out one of your reviews or something. And he said he knew you personally and you was a cool guy. To the other. I'm like, yeah. And then I looked and I said, well, let me see if the guys follow me back. And he was, I'm like, wow, what did I do? So I thought we were cool. I'm reposting stuff and liking pictures. I mean, I'm like, I don't know.
See, that's already at like celebrity status when someone be like, ooh, someone didn't follow somebody, and it's like,
I don't know,
So I'm terrible.
Hold on, TF Johnny, are you murder priming TM Reviews right now? Is that what's happening?
You can't murder prime the guest, like.
I know, right? I apologize.
I know you're a Navy SEAL and shit, but you can't come on here and murder prime.
Hey, look, I had to ask. I'm just getting back in the house too, by the way.
Well, so now I got to answer. So I unfollowed like 1,000 people. I don't know who they are personally. So it wasn't a personal like, oh, TF Johnny doesn't have good content, I'm gonna unfollow him. I just unfollowed everybody. And the reason I did that is I was talking to T-Man 978, because I don't understand Instagram at all. I don't understand how it works. I don't understand how they promote your videos or how it brings people to YouTube. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand how that whole thing operates. But he told me that you want to follow people with a high number of followers and also in a certain genre. And I was like, well, I don't know who that is. So I literally unfollowed everybody and then started picking and choosing. And then I was like, I don't have time for this. And I just stopped following anybody. So at this point, like, I don't follow anyone. So don't take it personal, Johnny.
Okay. You still excellent reviewer.
Nobody on Instagram murder prime.
He might be the best. Honestly, he might be the best. I've seen other guys.
It's great to have the GOAT on the channel.
TM, I mean.
And TF Johnny, we're gonna have TM Reviews back on the channel. Spin just he was asking him, but really he's being drafted like this was a test. we're gonna have him back. We're gonna do some kind of a game show. He's gonna be involved in some way, and so are you.
Hey, that'd be dope. I'm always
and so are all the thousands of listeners right now at home. Remember to subscribe to TF Johnny and of course to TM Reviews and all the great channels that we promote here on Children of Primus. Any final words before I have my last question of the evening for TM Reviews?
I tried to say it earlier, but my microphone.
Go. No, you take the floor. You've been quiet for a long time.
The computer does the random mic muting, but I found it really hard to believe you hadn't been recognized outside of anything like Transformers related, because my Cruises Motorsports channel and your channel are about the same amount of subscribers, and I have been recognized on the street. What, you're so and so from Cruisers? I'm like, well, yeah. Wait, how do you know? It just really surprised me. So it really surprises me to hear that you haven't been recognized outside of your channel. That's just how.
It might just be where I live.
Around to where there's like people, like, are you not in the environment where there are people who watch that genre of video? Whereas TM Reviews are saying, yeah, people recognize them at Transformers convention. So you're doing like a car channel. Are you hanging out like where people are?
I was recognized while I was sitting in a parking lot with the old lady going in to get groceries.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And well, the kind of car I was in was kind of a giveaway, but Still, the guy walked up to me. You're Jason Shulko. Yeah. Well, wait. Are you a cop?
Yeah,
No.
you just gave us your real name. Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all over the Cruisers channel.
Yeah.
I think where I live, it's not like there's a ton of collectors or Transformers people, living here or like out. Actually, I'll tell you a story.
City, right? And I think TM Reviews, maybe you're not in a big city.
No, I mean Albany's a really small.
Yeah.
Like upstate New York.
Yeah.
Is nothing like New York, right? It's
why don't you come and hang out with us in Toronto, bro? You're not that far.
I mean,
you were here. You were just here.
I did come say hi. But,
yeah, you did.
I had family. I brought my family to Toronto, so.
I think that's a lot to do with it too, though. Is like you're with your family, people don't want to go up to approach you and disturb that type of thing. I think they're respectful of you because of your character on here and what you show everybody. I honestly think that. And
you're probably onto something there, yeah.
I've always wondered why these other YouTubers that I do watch that are involved with Transformers, why your numbers aren't higher. That's always been my thought since day one when I started watching you is, why isn't this guy's numbers higher? Why aren't they higher and higher and higher? Because you do interact with the questions and the people that are talking while you're doing your live streams, which, I've said that for this channel. We should, do that, interact a little bit more with the people because they're part of this. To me, I want like anybody that bleeds Energon to have their opinions and their questions seen and heard because these people aren't doing their own channels, but they still have good questions. They still have, we got good answers for them. So why not? And you do that very well. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I mean, I think about who we are. We're all, I don't know how old everyone is, but I'm going to say 30s to 40s, older dudes,
or more,
mostly males in this game. And who is our audience? It's the same people, right? It's 30 to 40-year-old males that are into Transformers toys or cars or whatever. And how big is that audience across the world? Probably not that big, and that's why I was saying so. Prime versus Prime, his popularity is not because he's creating a community.
Right, different demographic altogether.
It's a totally different demographic because he's grabbing the attention of people across the world who want to see brand new Transformers, including children, like
kids. Yeah,
they're not 40-year-olds coming to his channel.
Much younger audience. Yeah.
So so our audience is limited. So that might answer your question a little bit up to, why are our numbers like Bobby is really good at what he does, but he's only got 30K followers in the grand scheme of YouTube. That's nothing, it's meaningless in the world.
I could just add a quick point to that. Like, it's not simply the age demographic, but like the thing that we're doing is very niche because it's not just men who are 30 to 40 and 50s. It's men who at a certain time period in history watched a particular show.
Yep.
And that's different. So it's not like,
that's a good point.
So when you want to grow your channel, you're not just looking for other guys who are this age. You're like, where's the other guys who also watched this show 40 years ago or 30 years ago, right? Versus Prime
that being said, we need to find a fembot that collects and get her on the show. So if there's a fembot out there somewhere, contact one of us.
That will easily boost your rate. Guaranteed.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Let me just finish the sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
Is Prime versus Prime, on the other hand, with the young, it's not just that it's a young audience, but it can be new people that are just getting into Transformers. So people who just saw the movie or people who have no interest in Transformers, they can get into it. Yeah. So over to you, TF Johnny.
No, I just wanted to ask what release so far this year has been like your most you've been most impressed with so far?
I wasn't prepared.
Well, maybe not.
We're restarting the stream again, but it's okay because you just joined us late, so that's all good. Look at that,
Skyfire.
Yeah, that's TM Reviews' favorite character is Skyfire.
Yeah, Skyfire's my favorite.
Inside obviously knows that. That's why he's holding it up.
Yeah.
So you like the Takar version better than Fansoys?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Here, I'll just tell you.
Hold on now.
There's a whole bunch of Jetfires up there if you can see them. And I kept the fan stories. I didn't get rid of them because I love those guys. That's still my first love. But That'd
You
be
got to
up
explain to the people who don't understand when you said those guys. Like you have multiple fans toys. Like you really love Jetfire.
Oh yeah, I
You
have.
got to tell. You got to tell. Show us the different colors you have. And
I have
why.
the clear one. I have the shiny pearlescent one, and then I have the regular one. And then
Those
that one was.
haven't been seen on the channel. So show us.
They need
the
to make a
clear one.
Jetfire this big.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That one's probably up
Lewin
there.
Resources, come on, hear us out. Lewin Resources, make a Jetfire that big.
That would be cool.
I'd buy it.
I don't know if an
There aren't
answer for
many
you, Johnny. I mean, it's hard to think on the spot of what my top figure would be, but I always do it at the end of the year, so you can watch that video. Because then I take the time, I sit down and look through every single video I made and try to pick, but it's hard to think of it right now. Sorry.
That's mine. The Robot Paradise knockoff.
Trash.
So-
Oh, knockoff. Okay, that's cool.
One more
That's a
question.
good
I
knockoff.
swear I won't say anything else. what do you look at like in figures, TM, in terms of like for me, I love paint and probably engineering, well, materials too. Like, what really drives you in terms of what makes something like a great figure? Like, what is it? Just like, what do you look for?
Premium. So for me, we're paying a lot of money. This is an expensive hobby. So I'd rather pay another 20, 40, even up to $100 if it's worth it for quality. Like I want the quality. I want the premium thing. I want a premium product. I want an adult collector's product. So I look for, just like you said, really good paint, good materials. And I know diecast doesn't make it good, but diecast definitely helps because it gives you a better feel and a balance, especially if they have it down low, center of gravity. It makes it stand better and feel better, and you're holding it, you're posing it. So diecast and materials in general, just good materials. That's kind of what I look for. That's why I gravitate to fans toys, because they tend to do that. They have really good paint, really good materials. They tend to use diecast down low, not always, but often. So they tend to hit my what I'm looking for in a transformer. But I have every company. It's not just them, but that's kind of what I look for.
Yeah, same way. Pretty much the same.
Cool. So a couple of comments before we sign off for the evening. Let's see. Princeton Felix 59 was saying former fellow sailor here. And Brian says, I'm gonna good night to all you guys. Have a good night and a great day tomorrow, and I'll see all of y'all on the next stream. Princeton also wishes have to go. Have a good night, everyone. And Mariano says, thank you for the show, gents. It was fun. And Brian mentions, in my opinion, that toy guy is better than Prime versus... Yeah, that toy guy is better than Prime versus Prime because he waits for figures and he does live streams with other people too. And Prince Phalak says, I agree that toy guy is a good young reviewer. And nothing like thick with diecast download. Jiggity.
Pause.
Thick with diecast. All right.
All
So
right.
we are wrapping up. I said I have one final question for TM Reviews at the end. Who else has your final stuff? Toy Warp, did you get out everything you wanted to get out? Johnny, I know you got more questions for TM Reviews. We're going to bring him back on the show. We're going to have you run through your battery of questions. And Sonny, goes without saying, thank you very much. We had a great time with you.
too.
Everybody, give it up for Sonny, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
I had fun too, by the way.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I think we're going to go to my final question. Let's get a full screen on Sonny right now. Let's look at that room. Spin, we get Sonny's room here?
No, I'm going to.
There we go.
Okay, yeah. So now, so I guess you don't want to pull down figures for us now. You don't want to show us that clear Jetfire. That's cool. We'll do it another time. The big question is this. This is a Transformers room, you have the nerve to have a foosball table right in the middle of the room, and it does not appear that you have gone through the trouble of properly doing this display. I'm sure Bobby would be very disappointed if you sent this room to Collection Critiques. They would have a field day talking about the fact that you have yet to replace all those soccer players with Transformers characters. My question is, when are you going to do it? And Freakenstein has a model kit of little Transformers that he's showing us spin. Can we get him on screen here? He's got these little guys right here. So I'm going to send Freakenstein to your house once we figure out where you live, and we're going to modify that table for your birthday.
Nice.
Well, does the table transform? If that table transforms.
Does the table transform?
Oh.
Yeah, that would be redeemable there.
Yeah,
I'm
that'd
a
be God
big-
level.
I'm really into games, so I have every game you could think of. Cornhole, foosball, darts, ladder ball. Some people have never even heard of ladder ball.
Axe throwing? What about some axe throwing?
We need a Risk Transformers game.
Nah. Okay.
Oh, that would be dope.
See, and that's a game, if you were to live stream that's at least like a 10-hour live stream to play a Transformers Risk, game.
It's too long.
Yo, that's what we're
Way
going
too long.
Are you a Risk fan, Sonny?
No. So I should have clarified. I'm a game guy, but not like short games, like party
Short
games.
games. You don't want to
Yeah,
join
board
us
games.
for an
I want-
8-hour Risk game online.
Yeah,
But-
I drink and we play games. That's what I
But
do.
see, there's a funny irony with that, because like many months ago when we described just the simple Transformers to like the third parties or like the Masterpiece, it's like checkers is like, the simple figures. Masterpiece is like playing chess. And it's like you're playing chess, you're sitting down for a couple hours, or like Risk or like any other
Beautiful
games.
analogy.
hmm
You know what? That can be a good answer to. It wasn't Mariano who asked us the question about should they get into Masterpiece collecting. So that's kind of like what kind of games do you like? Like mainline is checkers, Masterpiece is chess. It's a different kind of thing. It's a different kind of commitment. It's not just one is better than the others. Like we're into the high level thing. We think it's just better, but it's different. Yeah.
Well, Princeton says 10-hour live streams. Pack for Life already does that.
We're not trying to compete with
Yeah,
We're not
trying.
trying. We've done a 4-hour. We're approaching it now. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut it off before we get to 4 hours.
Yeah, let's come back another time.
All right.
Thanks
It's
for
been
having
wonderful. It's been dope. And who wants to say our closing tagline?
What is our closing tagline? That's the tagline.
Till all are one.
Bleed and energon.
One.
There you go.